Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Honeyflow talk show. It's really great to be back. It's been about a month. I've been away online. So, thank you guys so much for your thoughts and your prayers and everyone messaging me. Appreciate it so much. It feels really good to be back online. And we got a really special guest with us. He's been DJing for 3 decades, over 30 years. Experience DJing. So it's going to be really interesting to get into his journey, his story, and just everything he does. He does multi-genre, music, mixing clubs, corporate events, private parties, live streaming, a radio show as well. He's received support from some pretty big guys like Diplo, Dylan Francis, and Vice. He also is, does live streams. He's a partner here on Twitch. He's killing it on his streams as well. And he hits the airwaves across the US on Friday nights on a nationally syndicated show called Ghetto House Radio, Wild 94.9 FM. We're going to ask him about his radio experience. I'm really curious about that as well. Coming from a radio background myself, it always excites me meeting someone that is on radio and doing that as well. So he's really versatile. He's also a DJ instructor for Pyramid Institute and of Music in San Francisco in the Bay Area. So let's bring him in and we'll talk about his journey as well and how he got started on Twitch. And his personal story, I think, is really, really inspiring. He just let me know too. It's mental health, month as well. And of course, with the Stroke Foundation too this month. So we're definitely going to talk about that and his story too. So let's bring him in, DJAUDIO1. Make sure you guys say hi to him and salute to everyone in the chat and coming through. I appreciate you guys. So let's bring him in. Hey, how you doing?
I'm doing all right. How you doing?
Good. Good to see you. Thank you for coming on my show. I appreciate it.
I appreciate the invite.
I saw you on a lot of interviews, so it looks like you're pretty. You do a lot, like you do a lot of talk shows and stuff. I've seen you on.
Yeah, I guess I'm available sometimes.
Yeah, for sure. Do you do this? I'm assuming you do it full time, DJing, right?
DJing full time for the past 10 years. Yes.
Wow. Yeah, that's definitely a leap to do, and you're so versatile in like pretty much everything you do. Yeah, so I'm curious, are you originally from the Bay Area too?
Yes, born and raised in the San Francisco Bay Area. So I've been here all of my life. I've traveled the world, but San Francisco Bay Area has always been my home.
Okay, nice. Awesome. Yeah, it's I love it there. It's amazing. San Francisco. I got to visit you guys.
And you're from Toronto, right?
Yeah, have you ever been out here to Toronto?
I haven't. I've tried, but it was some legal stuff back in the day that it didn't allow me to come into the country, but yeah.
Oh, okay.
Hopefully sooner than later.
Yeah.
High notes in the chat right now. We talked about going to Canada at some point.
Oh man, you guys got to come. I think your record should be clean after 10 years, but they're tough across the border, man. Like
both sides, yeah.
If you have a little DUI or something, they won't let you in.
There you go.
And a DJ, I heard there's another DJ from New York, DJ Tam Jam. She told a story of coming across the border with her DJ gear. And you can't really work across our borders, right? Like I couldn't come in your country and work and get money. So they heckled her and she couldn't get into Canada for years. Like she hasn't, I think it's been like 10 or 20 years. And she was just going to DJ like a 16-year-old sweet 16 party. I was like, oh, it's brutal.
Happens, I guess, right?
Yeah, for sure. But that's okay. Do you want to shout out anyone in the room? I see a lot of your tribe here too.
Yeah, the tribe's in here. Actually, it's funny. We're called the Puro Palo crew. That's from DJ High Note's channel. So my friend DJ High Note, I see Margulis, one and only B. She's my moderator. She's also a moderator for DJ High Note. We've all sort of become a family in real life. That's the beauty about a platform like Twitch, is that you meet people from all places all over the globe, all different careers, all different backgrounds, and then just kind of fuse and become a family.
Yeah.
I mentioned Margulis.
Yeah, and she's amazing. She's an amazing DJ too, Margulis. Yeah, she's definitely killing it. We got Cami DJ High Note, one and only B. How you doing? Good to see you.
Yeah, the whole squad's here, yeah.
All right, awesome. And everyone else coming through, appreciate you guys as well. So I'm curious because you have like 30 years DJing. That's crazy. 3 decades.
A long time.
Yeah, it's a long time. So you've seen everything from the beginning. I was curious, like, where did your love originally come from for music?
Came from my parents, really. My mother is from El Salvador and my dad's from Mexico. So they just were, the house was always full of music and we were playing everything. You imagine growing up in such a diverse Latin community. There's all types of music. There's obviously all the Mexican music, and then there's all the Central American and Caribbean music. But then they also loved funk and soul and rock. So in my house, we were listening to Chicago, the Eagles, groups like that, Santana. Like, so I grew up, listening to everything, Michael Jackson, and then funk and soul, and just sort of it was like a perfect storm of music and culture. And then, as I started getting older, I discovered hip hop and hip hop culture, and then just one thing led to another, and I became a DJ at some point. So yeah.
Oh, amazing. And you said El Salvadorian. So your parents probably know how to make some really good pupusas,
Oh, my
I'm
mom.
assuming.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Yeah, I absolutely love pupusas. Uh,
Yeah.
Thank you so much, UK Web Boy, for those bits. I appreciate you. Thank you so much for coming through as well. Oh, that's awesome. So, I guess you probably played a lot of Spanish music, like growing up as well too,
One
and
hundred
you still
percent.
probably do, obviously.
Yes,
Yeah.
I do. It's interesting because I try to keep up with as much music as possible. We just can't keep up with everything today. But yeah, to when it comes to the roots and the culture stuff, definitely it's ingrained in the blood, right?
Yeah, for sure, definitely. I think my favorites are like, well, probably more merengue and salsa. Those are my two top.
Hmm.
Bachata, not
Yeah.
so great at. I don't know. What about you? Can you like dance to all, like basically all those genres?
No, I don't know. When I was younger,
Yeah.
sure. Not as an adult, and especially post stroke, I haven't really been able to dance too much. But yeah, we'll talk about that later. But
Yeah, for sure. Well, you're definitely going to get back to dancing soon, for sure. So I was curious, what inspired you, or was there someone that inspired you growing up just to get really into music?
my story is very simple. Pretty much, I grew up listening to the radio, in our area, and I was just always fascinated by the music that was coming out, and then there was always 1 hour a day, or 1 hour like at a certain point in the day where the music was nonstop, and it really just fascinated me. Like, how are they keeping the music going without stopping? Because usually on radio, it was like they would play a song, somebody would talk, then the next one, but it was just like this continuous flow of music, and that just fascinated me. And little by little, I discovered that, yeah, that's the DJ culture, and then I just was fascinated by it. But again, my story is pretty straightforward. When I was 11 years old, I was in seventh grade in junior high, and we had a diversion program in our middle school to keep the kids away from the gangs. Obviously, the older kids were trying to recruit the younger ones, right? They used to call us the peewees. So
Hmm.
I got paired with a college student. It was this college program where these college students from our local college, Chabot College, they would basically pair you with, with a college student, and they would help you out with your homework. And it just so happened that the guy they paired me with, his name was Orlando, and he was a DJ, and he just like told me all about it. I'm like, yo, I find it fascinating. Tell me more about it. And he told me about the records and the turntables and rocking parties. And from that point forward, I was just like, okay, this is what I want to do. This is something that I'm very interested in. And he did one of our lunch events, and he told me to get up there with him. And he's like, just hand me a record. And he handed me the record, and we put it down. He put the needle on the record, and he's like, when I count to three, I'm going to have you just let go of the record. Okay. All right, cool. Ready? One, two, three. Bam. And letting that fader go and that record go, and in seeing the instant reaction from my peers in school, like, it was like a drug. It was just like, ooh, this is what I want to do, and this is at the age of 11. So like, it was just something that I knew from that point forward, like, this is exactly what I want to do with the rest of my life. I just want to, like, give people that ooh feeling every time I play a record.
Yeah, for sure. Wow, that's amazing. So your very first kind of professional event, do you remember what that was? Your very first event?
Um, I mean, I didn't really have a real professional event till 10 years later, but I
Hmm.
mean, I did a lot of like house parties. I did sorority frat parties. I actually played at I came up on the underground rave scene in the late 90s. So it was a mixture of like playing hip hop, boom bap, and then drum and bass, and then house music. And so this whole term of open format and like multi genre mixing to us in the Bay Area, we literally, and in LA, like the West Coast, we really are very well versed with a ton of different genres. So, but it wasn't until 2001 that I had like my first professional event where like I had my name on a flyer and everything. I mean, I only made $100 that night, which doesn't seem like much, but it was something like, okay, from this point forward, I'm now a professional. So imagine it took me those 10 years of just putting in the groundwork to get to that point. So it wasn't really like anything too crazy. I play from 11 to 12 at an event, and then I just kept getting invited back over and over, and it just kind of spiraled over the years.
Nice. Were you like ever like your kind of your first couple events? Yeah, 10 years is a long time. Like a lot of people don't think they're like, ah, DJing, what's that? Like whatever. You just press play. Like a lot of people don't understand how much is involved. And
Right,
for you to practice, like maybe if you could let people know like how much, for people that are non-DJs in the room or watching, they're just like,
mm,
ah, whatever, we'll just book you all. Like it's not a big deal. All you gotta do is press play. Like, what would you say to them that what DJing takes? Because it took you 10 years to practice before like a real event. Like that's a lot. It's a lot of
right.
work.
You have to think about it. In that time, there was no YouTube. If you got a VHS tape of some DJ battle or some DJ stuff, you were really considered lucky. So today, because of technology, like the accessibility to everything is really, you could be anyone could become a DJ in a day, pretty much today. So, and it's funny that I teach now, and one of those things is that I teach, and that what a lot of people teach is that um, preparation is key. Pretty much, like we look amazing when we perform, but that's because like 90% of your career it's gonna be behind closed doors, and it's gonna be you preparing your playlist, preparing your music, working on your skills. That way when you actually perform, you have everything ready to go. You look like the man or the woman or whatever you identify yourself as, and pretty much everything is flawless, but they don't see all the work behind. So it's pretty much like anything else. Like if you want to be a basketball player, they're not gonna see all those millions of 3 pointers that you do in your lifetime. They're only gonna see the ones that are televised. So but preparation, but for the most part, with DJing, 90% plus of the career is basically done behind closed doors. Preparing your music, and that's just the way it is. So
Yeah, for sure. Would you say like do you prepare for every show or how's your method or do you just kind of freestyle it because you kind of know where all your crates and everything is like after so many years or are you still prepping?
I still prep most of the
Hmm.
time. Even like when I do Boom Bap Mondays, or my whatever other streams I have, I usually come in with an idea of what I want to play. Like yesterday was Busta Rhymes' birthday, so I did a whole 2 hours of just my favorite Busta Rhymes music. So I put a little effort into that one at least. At least gave myself like 100 songs. I know I'm probably not gonna play 100, but I played 66, so that's pretty close. But at least like give myself an idea of what I want to play, and then I figure it out as I go along. So for me, it's half planning and then half just kind of deviating. Obviously, DJing on the internet is completely different than DJing in real life. In real life, you could prepare a lot, but usually anything that you plan kind of goes out the table when one request comes in or something else. You just have to be ready for anything when it comes to DJing.
Yeah, for sure. That's very, very true. Yes, definitely. So going back to how many years back, over 30 years, do you remember your first pieces of equipment? Like, was it like that Radio Shack type of
Yeah, the
equipment?
original stuff was my mom's. My mom had a Fisher stereo and it had a turntable, and yeah, it had some pretty much like Radio Shack equipment. It had like the
Sweet.
tape decks and stuff, and it wasn't until I was 14 that I actually got some actual gear. So these turntables you're looking at here are the turntables I've owned since the age of 14.
Wow, crazy.
So
Actually, I'm going to zoom in if that's okay. Let's see here. You may not want to be zoomed in. Some people don't like to,
yeah.
but oh, cool.
They've actually
It's
been, I mean, they've been
quarantine.
updated. My friend actually put some carbon fiber. You know how they
That's
carbon
dope.
fiber vehicles, they do it on turntables now too. So
Yeah. So
but
did you have to really change anything with your tables then if you've had those since 14? Like,
I think all my friend DJ Ajax, he's like the master of these 12 of repairing and restoring 1200s. All he did was internalize the ground and then put some
wow.
new RCA's and then just kind of polishes it up every few years. But yeah, these turntables don't leave the house anymore. They used to actually leave the house all the time.
Mhm.
Um, I actually never had my setup ever, like in the past like 15 plus years. I never had my setup at home because I was always moving around up till the pandemic. Once the pandemic hit, all of a sudden I was able to set up my equipment finally. So
Yeah, that's super cool. Your equipment. I find like anything that you owned back in the day lasts. Like if it's a car, a vacuum, a
right,
turntable, like just everything was so durable back in the day, right? What do you guys think? I'm trying to think in the
these
chat.
things last forever.
Let's see. Oh yeah. Let's see. I'm gonna
Oh,
oh,
I'm
your
just I'm
vinyl
just
stand
pulling
record.
random ones. So yeah,
It's so
Heather B.
true. Yeah, so true. So true. So I'm curious with the chat, like what's the oldest thing you've owned and that's lasted? Let me know. I'm curious. For you guys, whatever it is that you have. I see Sarita in the chat too. Nice to see
Sarita
you.
La Chinita, how you doing?
Ooh, I like that name. Sarita La
La Chinita.
Chinita. I like it.
Can I ask
Um,
you something?
yeah.
What is your nationality? I'm very intrigued.
Oh, nationality. Oh, no one ever get. I will give you guys $50 if you. Well, maybe not 50 actually. $20. No, if you guess, no
What's the
one.
exchange rate?
Yeah, I know the exchange rate's horrible. Like I think our dollar's half of yours, so it's and they raised prices on us for subs. I was like, come on, it's killing us as Canadians. But nothing's worse than the pounds. You see the UK dollar, I'm like, oh, that is brutal, right? It's way more than the US dollar. But anyways, yeah, no one has ever guessed my mix in my entire life. Most people do
Wow.
think I'm Spanish, but I'm actually half Scottish and half East Indian. Um, so most people, and then
Yeah.
with my name, only a few people in the room know it's Maria. So then that confuses people even more, right?
Right.
So yeah,
No,
what?
here's the thing with me. My friends call me Alex. My real name is Alexander. So like
Oh,
Salvadoran and Mexican named Alexander, and the same thing with my brother. His name is Jeffrey. But in Salvadoran culture, and I know that one and only B will agree with this. A lot of our parents were raised to like if you want to assimilate in the United States. You're gonna have to give your kids Americanized names, you know. So that's why you see a lot of like Salvadorans, Nicaraguans, Central Americans have like like Michael and Peter. Like they just have names that you would never suspect for, Central American. But
yeah, for
yeah, because
sure.
she calls me Alejandro.
Oh, I like that. I like that. Well, my name is kind of a funny story because my mom actually stole, I'm not even kidding you guys. She took someone's first name and last name and named me that. And
Wow.
I didn't find out until I was in my 20s. And the funny thing is this lady owns a hat store. So I saw my name. It said, I won't say my last name, but it said Maria blank and then hat store. I was like, "Oh my gosh." I'm like, "Why does this person have my name? That's so bizarre." And my grandmother took me there and she started laughing her head off. She's like, "I think your mom's running from the FBI. Your mom's crazy. She literally stole person's name and named you that and took her last name too." So anyways, that's yeah.
Wow.
It gets
That's
confusing.
fascinating.
I know. And the last name is Czechoslovakian, and people know culture here in Toronto because we have over 200
Yeah,
nationalities
it's
here,
a
right?
melting pot out there, just like it
Yeah,
is
it's
out
like the
here. Yeah.
most. Yeah. So the Bay Area is like that too. Like the most mixed capital, I believe, in the world. They said was Toronto.
Yep.
So I have all these Czechoslovakian people or other people coming up to me. Oh, hey, are you Czech? And I'm just like, you know what? I just got to say yes at this point. How am I going to explain this crazy
Right.
story?
Funny story.
Yeah. And even when I went to Mexico, like all the Spanish people were getting mad at me because I couldn't. They thought it's because I didn't want to speak, and I'm like, I'm telling you, like my Spanish is horrible. Like no hablo español or inglés. Like it's horrible. So I'm like, look, I'll show you guys. I can't salsa dance. It's horrible. Like I'm gonna step on someone's feet. I'm really not Spanish. I'd love to be, because you
Right.
got the community embraces me. My El Salvadorian friends, Mexican, but yeah, it's yeah,
I think
I'm
when you
probably
know
mixed.
when you know Latin people, we just embrace you. Pretty much. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? It
no,
doesn't
it's
matter if you are
true.
or not.
It's so
So.
true. Yeah, my friends are very, very much like that growing up, and their parents, and just the culture and the dancing and everything. Like I absolutely love. So, and those pupusas, love those too.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but anyways, yeah, that's kind of a crazy story. But yeah, so you said your first couple pieces were like the Radio Shack equipment. That's really cool that you have kept that gear for so long too.
Yeah. These things last.
Yeah. Do
I
you remember? Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
no, go ahead.
Yeah, I was gonna ask if you remember, like, say, out of all the events you've done, your most memorable event. Have you had, like, I'm sure you've had a few over the years?
I've had a few, but I can't think of any right off the rip that I would be like, that's the event because I'm still. I guess I set my goals. My goals are very lofty, so I haven't reached what I wanted to do. So but if I like, what I've learned, especially pandemic forward, is just treat every gig as if it was like the Super Bowl. You know what I mean? Just like,
Mhm.
because you never know. Because I've noticed that a lot of people get discouraged, especially in the DJ culture. People get discouraged because they don't get the opportunities that they want. But there's so many people trying to do the same thing, and sometimes you just got to be grateful for the opportunities you do have. Like some people will tell me, "Oh man, I have these shitty gigs," and I'm like, "Well, you know what? Those shitty gigs are probably like treasure gigs for somebody else. Like how they say how somebody's trash is somebody's treasure. It's the same thing.
Yeah.
And not saying that gigs should be considered trash, but every opportunity. They could have given your gig to any of the millions of DJs in your market, but they gave it to you for a reason. So you got to act accordingly, pretty much.
Yeah, that's true. That's some great way of looking at things. That's very true. And I do feel like, don't you feel like streamers and DJs and people in front of the camera, you could be kind of a bit of a perfectionist, like maybe always striving, like always wanting to do more and more and more?
100%.
Yeah.
I think we try to go above and beyond, not only with the music, but the content or things that we talk about. But sometimes you just gotta sit back, and I think we tend to put. I think as DJs, we tend to put a lot of pressure on ourselves, and sometimes we just need to just relax. Like one of the things that I've been really gung ho about all these years has been to mix things in key, so things sound good together. But in the past year, like I've sort of just like kind of stepped it, like kind of didn't focus on it too much anymore. So now I'm just, even if things don't match, I'm like, all right, at least we created a moment. So I've just been learning to ease back on everything, because I think over the years I've put way too much pressure on myself when I shouldn't have. With those gigs that were stressful, it wasn't that the gig was stressful, it's that I stressed myself out,
Yeah,
in the process.
100%.
Yeah.
100%. And it's interesting. I've interviewed probably over 200 people in the last 3 years, like on this show
Hmm.
here, and it doesn't matter if you're like a large streamer, a small one, a medium-sized one. Like I see a common denominator amongst people in general, like
Hmm.
country to country, is that we could definitely be perfectionists. We can evaluate our work at the end of the day and keep having that kind of go through our head, like our minds, right? And a lot, I think, struggle with, like, even if they appear to be confident in front of the camera, I feel like a lot of streamers and people do struggle with confidence. And I like when they open up, because it makes me realize that we're all human, right? Doesn't matter if you're large, you have like 12 million people. I mean, I interviewed someone that had 12 million people, and she said social media can be kind of like a love-hate relationship,
Right.
with
It
with
is.
that,
Hmm.
right?
Yeah.
And she doesn't maybe always want to be, like you're always on or you're always entertaining. Sometimes you just don't want to do that, or you don't feel like doing that, right? So
Right.
how you doing, David C. Dennis? Good to see
The
you.
man, the myth, the legend, David C. Dennis in the chat right
Yes,
now.
definitely
Miss
becoming a
Princess
legend. Miss
81 is in the
Princess?
house.
Yes, make sure you guys are adding each other. Margulis as well is an amazing DJ. and person. Make sure you guys are adding her. And does Sarita do a show? With
Uh,
that
uh,
name, you
uh,
got to
uh,
do a show. I
that's a
love
great
that
name.
name. It's a
Yeah.
great name.
Sarita La Chinita.
Yeah, I
Yeah, make
like
sure to
it.
follow DJ High Note. He's like one of the newest.
Yes.
He's one of the newest partners on Twitch, and that was
Oh,
just so
nice.
great. Yeah, he became a partner a few weeks ago, and it was incredible. He's all getting
Congrats.
hungry with the pupusa talk.
Oh yeah, I know I love pupusas. I've only made them like I think twice or three times in my life. So,
Yeah,
but they're great. Congratulations, DJ High Note. I know it takes a lot, like
it does.
just even getting to partner, and I also appreciate the stories of people on my show, like Vader Mix. He talked about getting declined 7 times. I just talked to someone
Wow.
the other day that got declined 12 times, but you would never know. Like you said, it's like sometimes we showcase the highlights or the victories, but people don't know your whole climb to get there, right?
Right.
So,
Yeah.
yes. So congratulations on that high note. That's awesome. I'm going to have to check you too,
Yeah. He's
for
amazing.
sure. Oh, it's awesome. Yeah, that's really good. So, so memorable events you don't really you can't think of it. Do you have any on radio that you could maybe think of that where you're just like, oh wow, this was a great show, or you know?
There's a few of them. There was one that I did in 2012. There used to be a concert series out here, where they would have these big bands come out. You know, like we're talking
Mhm.
about like Blink 182, Green Day, those types of events, those types of bands, and there was always a side stage for like electronic music. And one year they invited me and my friend D Rock and my other friend Aaron Diera, and we actually got to open. So to us, that was kind of like, I mean, nobody was there for like the first 2 hours, but by the time we were done, it was like, oh, we created something. Like these people that weren't there for the bands, they were there for the DJs, and we were just playing the right music at the time. So I was like a good feeling there. Um, yeah, there's been a few. There was one year where I didn't get to open, but Calvin Harris was like headlining like
Oh,
inside, and I
nice.
got to do the outside. So on radio sometimes they'll put you either into like you're gonna DJ the VIP area or you're gonna DJ the front. And to me, I've always just kind of roll with the punches wherever they put me. Just, hey, put me somewhere. I'm always gonna get down.
Yeah, for
So,
sure.
but yeah, I mean, I'll be real with you because of what happened with me. Like,
Mhm.
I'm still trying to regain a lot of my memories. So there's certain like
Hmm.
holes in like what happened here. I know an event happened, but I don't remember exactly what
Yeah,
happened.
for
So
sure. No, that
yeah,
and that totally makes sense,
yeah,
100%. You'll definitely get it back. It definitely takes,
years and
definitely takes
time.
time.
Yeah,
And it may not even take years. You never know, like um
that's the
so
that's the beauty about to me, like the beauty of music or like
mhm.
running into somebody is that like sometimes you'll hear like I'll put on one of these records and maybe I'll look at it and I'll recognize what it is, but until I lay the needle on the record, then I actually hear it. It's like if it's something that I totally forgot about, it's almost like something goes off in my brain, like zoom, like whoa, there it is, and whatever memories connected to that record. That's what I love about music. And then
For sure.
also running into people, like I'll be like, you know what, I've met you before, but where did we meet? And then you just kind of start unraveling it. Oh wow, there it is. So then it's like bringing things back. It's interesting how the brain works and neuroplasticity. It's very fascinating.
For sure. And
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, yeah, definitely, and music is so powerful to trigger memories. They say that with dementia patients that have dementia as
Mm-hmm.
well,
Yeah.
that it really brings back different memories. So music is a lot it is therapy for I
It
think all of
is.
us.
Yeah.
Most people are just like, DJ, but I think someone mentioned that DJs should have actually been essential workers. I don't know if how nurses or other people would feel about that, but they said that during the pandemic, and I thought that was an interesting statement to make because I think it's actually kind of true. I had doctors, nurses in my chat saying, "Oh, hey, like you helped me get through the ER tonight," and like just the stories unraveling. Even though there might have not been a lot of people there, it was
Mhm.
like those people there that were with me for like 5 hours.
Yeah.
Um, so I
It's
think
it's
music
true.
is therapy. Yeah.
Yeah. It's funny. I actually have a shirt from the pandemic that says "Audio 1 is essential." A friend of mine made it.
Oh,
So,
nice.
and it was because when we jumped on Twitch originally, like there wasn't that many people, and just little by little, it just kind of snowballed into something greater. But as the lockdowns were happening, the first responders were like, when they needed their breaks, or like, I
Hmm.
hear there's DJs on Twitch, and that's how they found us. Because, before, when it wasn't the pandemic, if you were a first responder, you got off work, you'd go to a bar to have some drinks, you'd go out somewhere to hear some music, but then it's like you're dealing with this mysterious disease no one knows nothing about, and then everything's shut down. What do you do? It's like, and we were available. So that's sort of how I approached the whole streaming thing. One rule that I laid out on my channel like early on was, it's gonna be all about positive vibes. We're not gonna about to talk about the news. We're not gonna talk about COVID. We're not gonna talk about Trump and
Hmm.
all of that stuff. Like, cause
Hmm.
20. I think people tend to forget it was only 4 years ago, but like, a lot of people act like the pandemic didn't happen, and it's something to me. I'm reminded of it every day, obviously, because what I went through. But
Hmm.
it was a dark time for a lot of people, and I saw our responsibility as DJs. Like, you could tell in the chat if somebody was having a really bad day, and sometimes you just have to turn the music off and just kind of talk. It's almost like we became, like, in some ways, like therapists for other people, because people really weren't used to being locked in. Like, here in
For
California,
sure.
we were locked in almost 2 years.
Yeah.
So it was a different experience, but
For sure, 100%. Yeah,
but
and
yeah.
in Toronto, it was, like, crazy too, like, the lockdowns were probably one of the harshest in the world that they said.
Hmm.
So, I mean, Canada in general has changed so much, so not going into all the
Yeah.
politics and everything, but, like,
Trudeau.
oh boy, don't get me started, please. Where are my sirens? Where are my
Yeah.
sirens? But there has been actually 1.5 million people. They don't publicize it, but over 1.5 million Canadians that have left and moved to the Dominican and Panama and Costa Rica, like all these different places. I've been researching, so yeah, it's that's a different,
Yeah,
definitely
100%.
a different topic.
Hmm.
But yeah, no, I agree with you that this community was a really special community at that time. And there were so many people that came through our chat room, so many private messages. And I'm sure with you sharing your story, which we're going to get into in just a little bit, I'm sure you met other people that have gone through that too.
Hmm.
So it's amazing. Twitch was actually the first platform where I actually met people that dealt with the same, like, loss or losses that I have
Hmm.
with people passing away. I've never met anyone in like 14 years that have had my story. And I was blessed to meet at least 10 people on Twitch that DM'd me or private messaged me and said, "Hey, that happened to me too." I'm like, whoa, so blown away.
Hmm.
Right. So I do think Twitch is a really special community, and we have done something here, that you're no longer just a DJ, but you're also producing a show, right? Like a
Hmm.
TV show in a sense,
Right.
and helping people.
Hmm.
Yeah. So I think that's definitely a blessing. And how did you come on Twitch? Was it kind of, doing Facebook, Instagram, and getting kicked off, and you jumped on
Yeah.
here?
We tried to do the Instagram thing. It didn't really work out too well. Jumped on Facebook, and we were there for like 2 weeks, and then they kicked us off. And I have a group of friends who um, have been on Twitch since like the very beginning, since it was Justin TV. So they've been trying to get me on for years, and yeah, I just never had time till the pandemic. So before the pandemic, even I remember in 2019, one of my friends, he was like, "Yo, we need to get you on here, start DJing." I'm like, I wish I had the time. It's kind of
Hmm.
ironic that I said that, and a few months later, I literally had all of the time in my life to do something about it. So, yeah, no, we were just sort of in. Yeah, it's just one day. Yeah, one day I said, "All right, let's get on Twitch and see what it does." And yeah, we've been here for over 4 years now. So yeah.
Over 4 years. And did you know that, like, when you first saw it, were you just kind of like, this is just a gamer's app, or did you see other DJs, like a lot of other DJs already
Yeah,
on it?
there were some DJs already established on the platform. Actually, one of them was one that really helped me out. He got me basically. We became really good friends. Obviously, his name is DJ Bionic. He's from England. He's from Manchester, and he actually ended up designing all of my emotes, like doing all of that stuff and doing a lot of my designs for Beats for Hope as well. So, yeah, honestly, like at the time, I think we just looked at it like, let's see how long till they pull us off, kind of thing.
Mhm.
So I started, in April 11th, 2020, and we haven't been pulled off. So, I always tell people we're here till the wheels fall off, like And we just the main thing for me was over the year, especially once the world started opening up. Obviously, a lot of DJs stopped playing on the platform. To me, I made it a responsibility to like all those people, because there was a lot of people in communities that were really like, they were heartbroken, like their streamers were gone, and then some of them didn't even say goodbye. So
Hmm.
to me, it was like, let's embrace all these people into our communities, because that's the beauty about this platform, is that we create communities. Like Chris Cut just walked in. She has the Chris Cut fries. Like,
Hmm.
those are her people. David C. Dennis has his community. Margulis has her community. But we're all kind of combined because we make an effort. We make a concerted effort to actually show up every single week when we say we will.
Hmm.
And to me, that was important. And if I have to go to work, if I have an IRL, then I'll let my audience know, or I'll let my mods know, like, hey, I'm not going to stream today. Or if I'm not feeling well, sometimes I won't be feeling well and I won't stream, so I'll let them know. But yeah, I mean, I have people that just like yesterday, we just had 49-month, resub people on my channel. So that's like 4 years and 1 month. So they've been here since day one. So
Wow, that's
yeah,
amazing. That's crazy.
yeah.
That's so great. That's awesome. How you doing, Chris Cut?
Uh,
Great show yesterday. Loved your show. And she was like in full costume.
Yeah,
Definitely was digging it.
Chris Cut is so amazing. I actually knew her before
Yeah,
Twitch,
she's
so
very
that's
sweet. Oh,
yeah,
really?
yeah. I've known a lot of DJs even before Twitch, so it's kind of funny that with Twitch was sort of a way to put like the face and personality to someone's name, and that
Hmm.
was sort of the beauty also about Twitch too, is that, excuse me, for a lot of people, they knew they just saw what DJs were from the outside. For the first time ever, you were getting like a behind the scenes look at what being a DJ is like, right?
Hmm.
You
Hmm.
know, so you're awake.
Well, because I rated her because I did like a 6 hour show yesterday. I think I was delirious. I
Yeah, yeah,
haven't been on for a while.
yeah. You were
And
quiet,
then
right? You couldn't talk on the mic, right?
yeah, I didn't yeah, my landlords, interesting. So I just have to stop talking at 10 p.m. I don't blame them. My voice drives me crazy because I'm yappy. And even Chris Cut knows it. She's bugging me because I was talking to her bot till like 4 or 5 in the morning, like
Oh,
on her
AI
show when
Alicia.
we rated her. I didn't even realize it was a bot. What the heck? Like,
I,
I
s-
don't even know who's real
I
anymore and
still
who
got I
isn't.
gotta test that bot out. It looks like fun. It's
They're
AI
so real.
Alicia. Yeah.
I don't want to talk to any AI. I don't want to talk to any of them. I don't trust AI. I don't trust all those robots. I've seen some crazy videos. If you're a bot, stay away from me. But it's so realistic. I heard the more you talk to AI, the more they know more about you. Like
Yeah.
they start gathering a lot more information about you.
Hmm.
So I was saying my name was Maria Gonzalez and making up a fake name yesterday to that bot, so it would leave me alone. But it was pretty realistic. Do you have those that moderator bot on your show now too, or whatever
No,
you
I
call it?
no, I don't. I was actually thinking of testing it. We'll see. But
Yeah, it
yeah.
does look kind of cool, but I'm kind of afraid of the whole AI thing. Oh,
Eh,
hey,
audio.
wait, K Rod. I still think K Rod's a bot
Oh
with a
no,
picture.
no, he's real.
Oh, he's real. Okay,
Aloha.
say something
And
else.
Margula says Audio 1 is a bot. Take me to your leader.
Yeah.
Take me to your tacos.
Can you imagine though? But guys, have you not seen those bots that they're making in China? They're so realistic. It's like freaking
They
scary. It's
look
like
human.
Terminator.
Yeah.
They look human and they act human. I'm like, I don't know about that, man.
I
Yeah.
saw one that was dancing, and I thought it was like a breakdancing one, and then all of a sudden they like took like the part of their face off. It was metal. I was like,
Oh
wow,
gosh,
yeah,
that's
Terminator, yeah,
crazy.
Terminator coming
Like
soon.
all those movies they put in, like Avatar, Terminator. What are the other ones, guys?
Yeah.
The other movies, even The Simpsons. I think they all did that to program us for the future. The Jetsons, they programmed us.
The Jetsons,
Like,
yeah.
who would have thought we would have been on Zoom talking to each other, talking like this, right? Who
Hmm.
would have ever thought? And we've turned into the Jetsons. So I just hope I don't ever date a robot. I hope that never happens.
I
Chris
just,
Cut
oh my
is not
gosh.
going to help me and her tribe because they let me talk to a bot for like an hour in her chat.
I literally
Oh
just
man.
watched a video on YouTube about like how dating sites are moving into AI now, and I'm like,
Ugh,
oh, that's just gonna open up a really nasty can of worms. Like,
I can't.
yeah,
And they're so realistic. That's the thing that I can't get over. And K Rod and all these people were just sitting there with popcorn, you know, Chris Cut's just quiet playing music, all pleasant, as she is, all sweet. And they knew I was talking to a bot the entire time.
yeah,
I'm going to get you guys. I'm going to get all you guys.
yeah. There it is.
Let's see here.
Yeah,
But it is true. The AI bot helps keep. I know I was kind of looking at it, but I've seen some creepy videos. I should send it to you, Chris Cut. They're very creepy. That's why I'm like, I want to stay away from AI as much as I can.
yeah.
So it says AI bot helps keep the chat moving, but I put a disclaimer that we have one. What the heck?
Yeah, so it's really if you pay attention to the screen name. So I remember the first time I saw it, and I'm like, "Is it Alicia?" And I'm like, "Oh, it's AI Alicia." Okay, got it. Alex Mejia in the mix. Beats for Hope is in the house. I see it. What's up, bro?
How you doing? Alex Mejia, good to see you. Thank you for your support yesterday too, and always appreciate you. Did you guys know each other before too in the Bay
Oh
Area, or did you
yes.
kind of meet on
So
Twitch?
yeah, long story less long here. I used to listen to Alex Mejia on the radio. He was a DJ at KMEL 106 KMEL. He actually ran that station. So
Nice.
yeah, he if you've ever heard of Sway and King Tech, if you've ever heard of Sway
Yeah,
on MTV, then if it wasn't for Alex putting him on the radio, a lot of that career wouldn't have happened. So
that's
Alex
dope.
Mejia is one of those important people that have affected a lot of people's lives and a lot of people's careers. I actually met him the first time in 2014, and it was at the time for many years I was passing out my DJ edits to a lot of DJs all over the world. So that's sort
Hmm.
of how my name kind of got out because I was just sending out up till the pandemic. I was sending out edits for free. So that's how a lot of people got to know me. But yeah, I supported them and what they did with Beats for Hope before the pandemic, and then during the pandemic, they got me involved with Beats for Hope. And another person that's part of Beats for Hope is Girls Rule, obviously. How you doing?
How
She's a
you
mod
doing,
as well.
girls? Rule. Good to
Yeah.
see you. Yeah, awesome. Yeah, and Alex is an amazing guy doing great humanitarian work. I love
Mm-hmm.
what you guys are all doing. Beats for Hope, that mission. That's awesome. I feel like everyone in entertainment and music should be doing something like that. Like, you
Yeah.
imagine if every DJ maybe dropped their ego just a little bit, just a little bit, some of them, and really just did something beyond themselves. And I think a lot of DJs do that on Twitch, right? They do a lot of fundraisers and a lot of social initiatives.
Yep.
But I just wonder what entertainment would be like if we all did that and found something creative to do to make a difference, right, in the world. So salute to Beats for Hope and all you guys are doing. It's really inspiring
Mm-hmm.
to watch and see what you guys are doing too. Yeah.
It's really incredible because it's really not much like honestly for me like let's for example this is one of my shirts, right? So
Hmm.
you make this
Let's
purchase.
see here.
It's kind of hard to tell, but it's a
I still
turntable
gotta
with a
get a
heart.
shirt. Yeah,
Yeah. But
get some shirts.
the beauty of it, like at least with me and a lot of the DJs that are involved, is I make no money off of this. 100% of the proceeds go directly to the whoever you're supporting. So for us here in the Bay Area, it's supporting Alameda County Community Food Bank. So every time you buy a shirt, you're basically feeding you're feeding some families for a few days. So it's incredible. It's the least that
So
we can do.
yeah, for sure. How do you guys keep it going then? Because obviously you guys probably have finances and have stuff that you need to take care of. Like if you're giving 100% of the proceeds, how do you guys manage to keep everything like the nonprofit? Do you guys look for grants and different things too?
That would be a question you would have to ask Alex. So maybe
Yeah.
if you're interviewing him, he could give you that information. All I know
Yeah,
is
I've
that I
interviewed him
okay,
before.
perfect.
Yeah.
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 So I don't know
Alex,
exact.
let us
I don't.
know
Yeah.
if
So
you want to drop
I
it
don't know
in.
exactly how that works. All I know is that we
Oh,
all
get
kind of have a part,
donations.
and they handle that part. Yeah, we get donations. He says. Yeah.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, so definitely check out the site, you guys. If someone wants to just drop the link in there, that would be good to support them and what they're doing. And also, I love that if you buy something, I still got to buy some merch from you guys as well.
Mhm.
If you buy like 100% goes there. That's really grassroots. I love that. It's not like maybe some other big, huge organizations and you may only see like 2% go there and the rest doesn't. So I really love that.
Yeah.
So drop it, Alex. Feel free to drop your links, drop the links in the chat too, so people could check out the website and check out your merch store and everything. Yeah. So
Really cool.
is the Bay Area like I know it's big, but can it be very small amongst people in entertainment, like the DJ community? Does everyone kind of connect and know each other, or is it kind of a little bit more competitive out
It's
there?
it's a bit of both. It's a big area. Obviously, you're talking about San Francisco, you're talking about Oakland, you're
Yeah,
talking about San
it's huge.
Jose,
Yeah,
but it's huge in the sense where like distance, obviously, but everyone kind of is connected now because of the internet and social media and Twitch and all these different things. So we're all connected to somebody. You know, everywhere you go, you're kind of connected. That's sort of the beauty of how things are. And you could say the same thing about our friends in LA as well. LA is a very huge place, but while it's huge physically, literally it feels like a small world because everybody knows each other. It's like
interesting.
I could go down to LA and it's like I know Heino and Heino knows her and she knows him and then it's like we both know Margulis and then Margulis knows Romeo and they both know one and only B and it's like we're all connected. But when it comes to the DJing, it can be competitive,
Hmm.
but it really depends on how you market yourself, and two, if you let that bother you or not. For me, it doesn't really make a difference. I'm gonna work regardless, of what anyone does or says. Like competition is good,
Hmm.
but I don't let that bother me anymore. It's like, hey, if somebody else got the event, cool. I don't have to worry about it anymore.
Yeah, that's
I
good. So did you know like DJ Mo One and those guys, Juice, and
um I
Mo One's a great guy.
Yeah, I
Great
actually
guy.
knew them. I knew of
Mhm.
them before the pandemic, and we got to know each other during the pandemic. So yeah, so
Oh,
Twitch
okay.
really connected us in that sense because they were playing in different scenes that I didn't normally play in. So, and I think to this day we still don't play in the same scenes, but we all have a mutual respect for each other and what we do. So
Yeah. You said something earlier on, like, would there be anything that you would want to accomplish? Like, you've accomplished a lot over the years, but
mhm.
would there be anything as a DJ that you would want to accomplish? Like, anything, it could be crazy big. Like, what would that be to you? What would that mean to you?
To me, like especially because it just happened, like it was just EDC weekend in Las Vegas, so like to play something like EDC, and like not, I would want to do like a headlining, but even just to play in any EDC, but also like play something like Coachella, like that type of
Hmm.
festival, like something that to me that would be like a dream, to play something. But I think that would be like, do I want to DJ at these places or do I want to become an artist and play at these places? It's two different things. If you want to produce or do you want to just DJ, that's a whole different ball game, a whole different thing, and a whole different mindset. I've produced for many years, and it's tough. That it's easier to just be a DJ and play events versus being a DJ in the festival scenes. Like because there's just so much, so many other people doing it. Like
For sure. It could
yeah,
be possible. I mean,
yeah.
there's other people online, like, I don't know if you know who DJ Hannah Rad is. She's a great person
Mhm.
you should connect with. I mean, she does Coachella. She is a TV host. Like, she does some pretty big festivals and she's very down to earth. Like,
Mhm.
if you message or contacted, she's pretty cool, right?
Yeah. So yeah.
Um,
So
but yeah, you never know.
the way I look at the world right now is any opportunity I get, I look at it as a foot in the door. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
So in the next 2 weeks, I'm actually going to be DJing for NASCAR in the
Oh,
next 2 weeks.
nice.
So
Wow.
this is
Amazing.
my second year DJing for them, and it's still not the big stage,
Hmm.
but I have my foot in the door, and that's sort of how I look at things, right?
Hmm.
Like I'm also doing this festival next weekend. It's Bottle Rock. There's a big festival called Bottle Rock, but this one's called La Onda. It's the first annual, and this is all Latin festival.
Hmm.
So now I got my foot in the door. I'm not playing the big stages, but I'm playing two different sets in two different areas. So to me, it's like I got my foot in the door. I'm gonna go in there and kick some ass. So the next year I could get a better time slot, better pay, and then just but also use that as an opportunity because these are people that are not used to seeing. They don't know who I am, but like like one of the areas is gonna be silent disco, so they're just gonna put on their ear
Oh, nice.
their
I love those
headphones, right?
parties. Yeah.
Right, and I'm just gonna go in there and kill it like I would normally do at a club or how I would do on Twitch, and
Hmm.
make new fans, make new supporters. That I always strive for that. For me, every event that I do, like whether it's a private or a public event, as long as I make like a new fan or a new friend, that always goes a long way. Because people at the end of the night, they're like, dude, you kicked ass. Like, yo, give me your number. Like, I work at this company. We would love to have you. And, that's sort of what I strive for. So when we do these like events like NASCAR or even that festival, like, I know I'm going to get like a couple dozen new people that didn't know who I was before. So I strive for that sort of thing at my age.
Yeah, that's so true. How you doing? I saw Clarky that came in a little earlier, and OG Rod G.
There he is, OG
Good
Rod
to see
G. He's
you.
from LA. He's pushing for partner right now. So everybody, please give him a follow and definitely support him. Again, we're all part of this community. Like Hino became a partner. Now we're gonna help
Oh,
OG
that's
Rod
awesome.
G. That's literally anyone that's trying to become or doing the partner push.
Mhm.
Everyone's getting their people together and supporting each other. So definitely holler at them.
Yeah, definitely. Have you ever done like an arena or stadium or anything like that? And
I've
would that be something that would you be interested in doing?
I would be interested in that. I've played in stadiums before. Like, again, I just haven't played the main stage. Like the main stage is where I would want to be one day. And it's funny
Mhm.
because every so often somebody like, you should be playing festivals. I'm like, yeah, but there's like a million people like me trying to vie for that position. So,
Mhm.
again, it's all timing and, just putting in the work really, like
I
that's
think it's sometimes actually most of the time I would say 90% is who you know and who you're
hmm
networking with. It
right.
may not even necessarily being because there's plenty of skilled DJs, right? And turntablist DJs and
hmm
ones that can MC and host. And I know some women that had literally started like a few years ago and they're traveling the world now. It's crazy, or there was I think when I was looking at too, she was doing smaller events like myself, like Nordstrom's and different things. We kind of cross paths. And now she's the Toronto Blue Jays DJ. Like they
Oh,
picked her
wow.
up. Like it's huge, right?
hmm
So I mean, she's an incredible DJ. But I think it's definitely, would you say, in kind of who you know and networking in
hmm
this business?
Yeah, it has a lot to do with who you know and who you network with. I mean, obviously, there's a lot of people that only look out for their people, but
Hmm.
you just got to treat everybody with respect and,
Yep.
and just, be available if possible, But again, every situation is going to be different. I know for me it's been interesting because with me, like especially in the past 10 years, um I've had to kind of pivot every few years because my problem is that I like too many genres. And to
Hmm.
be successful, you sort of have to pick one lane. So it's
Hmm.
like, do I pick one lane or do I just do my thing? And I think what I've learned from the pandemic forward is I'm just going to keep doing my thing because this is where I'm most happy. Like, as much as I love EDM or I love boom bap or I love drum and bass or I love Latin, I
Hmm.
don't want to be I don't want to be confined to just playing one genre and that's it because I know a lot of those headlining DJs, and they tell me, "Yeah, I play house, and I all the music that I create is house." But they're like,
Hmm.
"Bro, I would kill to just play a hip hop set, because when they're traveling, 48 weeks out of the year, they're literally playing the same set for like 6, 8 weeks, and then a new set, but it's literally the same music, And to me, that sounds very confining. I like the ability, like if I'm in a hip hop setting, you know what? I want to play funk right now, so I'll play some funk. I'll play some Prince, some Michael Jackson. Oh, let's get into a Latin set. We'll play Latin. Let's play house. So I love having the opportunity to just kind of create my path musically, and I get paid to do that. So
Yeah.
there's nothing better than that. Yeah,
No, I agree.
she says some Desi. Desi Hollow is an artist from Oceanside, California that we all sort of learn about through DJ High Note, and he's become one of our favorite artists. So
Oh,
yeah,
nice.
yeah.
Nice.
So that's what she said. Some Desi. So technically, we have a joke in High Note's channel that one and only B is Desi's girlfriend. So yeah, it's kind of
Oh man. Yeah. Let's see here. OG Raji says facts. People always think I do only oldies and funk, but love all genres.
yeah.
Yeah. Good.
When I first heard of OG Raji, I knew about his hip hop background because he worked on the Wake Up Show. He worked with
Hmm.
Revolution. I believe he's related to DJ Revolution some way. But yeah, I mean, a lot of us like all different styles of music. That's what I loved about playing NASCAR last year was that in NASCAR it's very like we had this very interesting meeting where because NASCAR is not that it's new in California, but
Mhm.
California is one of those markets. We're really diverse. Obviously, we're very Latin heavy in this part of the country, and NASCAR for the most part is usually you think of like country music or southern rock. But when we came into it, basically we brought a fresh approach, like an open format, multi-genre approach to it. So it's funny when people would look at me DJ and they're like, "What does he know about country?" And then here I am playing some real big country bangers. They're like, "I would have never guessed you."
Oh, can you guys hear? Oh, okay, now I could hear.
Hello.
Yeah, okay, now I can hear you.
What was the last thing you heard?
Um, the guy was like, "Oh, what does he know about country?"
Right.
Yeah.
And I did my thing, and then it's sort of like, to me it's fun, because people, they don't know what to expect out of you. That's the beauty
Don't you
about
love
DJing.
surprising people? Yeah, because
Oh
people
yeah,
don't think they're
all
like,
the
"Oh, what do
time.
you know?" I always
Yeah,
find that going into like Jamaican or Caribbean parties, they're like,
yeah,
"What does this girl know about like?" But I still have a lot to learn. Don't get me wrong.
right.
Like, you know,
But in Toronto, you're
but
in a
it is kind of
perfect place to play that stuff. So
Oh yeah, perfect place. Like it's very you have to stretch as a DJ. Like I've even played Afghani music, Persian.
hmm
There was one corporate event I did 7 different languages that really stretched me, like Chinese and
oh wow,
Italian, Portuguese, Spanish. Like I played a mix of Caribbean and it shocked people, Indian, Bhangra music. People were shocked. They're like, how in the world? And Greek music too. So I would look at people. I always look at people and see the crowd or see people walking by, and I always like surprising people because they
yeah.
always underestimate you. So then when
hmm
you slip something in, then they're like, "Oh my gosh, like how did you even know about our music?" Right?
yeah.
But you
That
have
that
to
happened.
go here.
That happened in one of my residencies on Saturday night. There was a group of
Yeah.
younger Indian people. So I'm like,
Mhm.
then they're about to. So to me, when I see this is just, you might think this is funny, but I always have it in mind. If I see a certain group walk away, I just tend to kind of lean that way.
Mhm.
So yeah, I saw this group of young Indian, kids, like they're about to leave. I could tell they're about to leave. So I'm like, I haven't played any Indian music, so of course I'm gonna hit them with Punjabi MC. And
Yeah.
immediately once they hear that, they're
Funny.
like, "Oh, oh!" So they just run back. But then that's sort of like, okay, that's the one song everyone knows, but then I
Yeah.
hit them with like 5 other songs that like only like people that like have played an Indian event would know, and they're just looking at me, they're going off, and they're like, "How do you know this?" I'm like,
Mhm.
I just gotta know it. And then
Yeah,
so I love that I could sneak those songs in and then go back to the regularly scheduled program.
for
I
sure.
live for moments like that. It's always great.
Do you find
And
that Twitch has made you, like, because when you used to go out, play for a client, or you go out, you do your IRL, you just give them what they want. But
Mhm.
do you feel like Twitch has made you like more bolder to be more expressive and go out and slip different things in to
I
people?
th- I think so, because we have these cool communities that you could just tell them, "Hey, can we go? Can we like deviate a little bit and see where it goes?" And they're usually
Mhm.
like, "Yeah, let's go for it." A few weeks ago we had my 4-year anniversary stream, and I played a ton of stuff that I normally wouldn't play. And we were just like, I'm just gonna keep bouncing around different things, and they were just going for everything. So it's great.
Oh, that's
you know
awesome.
yeah,
It's
I
so
mean,
good.
obviously working with clients, it depends on the event,
For
what
sure.
what it is, but for the most part, I've forged a lane for myself where I could kind of get away with whatever I want right now, and I love that. Like most people are like, we trust Alex, just let Alex do his thing. And
Mhm.
that's the way that most of the people that book me, or if they don't know me and I'm gonna do these events, like they might not know me, but they will know who I am after I'm done. And that's the way
Yeah.
I always want to look at these things, right?
So I'm curious, like, what keeps you inspired, humble, and just what keeps you going? Because let's face it, you have like 3 decades of DJing, 30 years experience. You've done a lot of different things in your career where you could really have a huge ego and just be like, "Pff, whatever, who's this new DJ? Like, get them out of here."
Mhm.
But you don't strike me as that as at all. Like, you strike me as a very humble guy. Just hearing you today, and seeing some of your shows. So, what kind of keeps you inspired and humbled that way and say, hey, a small gig will lead up to a bigger one. Like, I love that because you're probably the first out of 200 people that have said that on my show, that, you got to remember those humble beginnings, that a small gig, I'm recognized it's very competitive out there, but a small gig will probably lead you to somewhere bigger, like don't sweat over it. But what kind of keeps you inspired and kind of humble and just to keep going?
I believe a lot of it has to do with the way I was raised. My mom raised us by herself. She worked 3 jobs, put a roof and food and fed us, as kids. And basically, my mom was like, never forget where you come from. You know what I mean? Because a lot of people tend to forget where they come from. Once they hit to a certain stage in life, they act like they've been in that stage their whole life. So to me, I've always just like, I've never had like what's that phrase? Like, people have like a safety net to fall back on.
Mm-hmm.
I've never had a safety net. To me,
Mm-hmm.
it's like I either work or I'm homeless. So
Mm-hmm.
it's sort of one of those things where like I can't act cocky, I can't have an ego because all of this could get taken away in a moment's notice. Especially now, even more so now with cancel culture, you could say the wrong thing and your career
Mm-hmm.
is over. So you
100%.
have to be very, very careful about the things you do. There's something if you say things for fun and then some things that you just mean to be malicious. But
Mm-hmm.
for the most part, honestly, like to me, like just playing out is basically therapy for me. And then I could see that it's therapy for others as well. Obviously I would suggest that everyone sees a professional, but sometimes hearing a few tracks will, get your mind away from what you were going through because people go through ups and downs all the time. And I've been through a lot of ups and downs, especially in the past 4 years. I've been in some really dark places, and I'm glad that where I'm at right now, where I'm able to talk about it. I don't know what it is. It's about like music sort of gives me life, and that's sort of the way that I treat it. And even if it's going to be a tough event or it might be a boring event, but I always have to think back, like, I'm blessed to be in this moment because I could, everything kind of goes back to the night I suffered the stroke, and I just look at life like I could have been dead, but I'm here, so I should be grateful. So to me, gratitude is everything. Waking up every day and being grateful for every day and every moment. Because tomorrow's never guaranteed. I've lost about 5 friends in the past year. And more people are passing left and right.
Yeah,
And
100%.
you know
100%.
we do this Boom Bap Monday thing. And every Monday we've been doing it for almost 4 years, and it's sad to me that like half the time we gotta say rest in peace Guru, rest in peace Biggie, Biggie Smalls, rest in peace Big L, like, and then little by little Bismarck, he passed away a few years ago, and so it's almost like that's how we're getting older because all our favorite artists are passing, and it's sad. There's some days where I look at my playlist, I'm like, literally half the people on my playlist are gone, but it's sort of like we're kind of like keeping their memory alive through the music, So, but yeah, to me, gratitude is everything. Just
Mhm.
just being grateful for everybody, being grateful for every moment, the good and the bad. I think we spend too much time worrying so much about the bad. Sometimes we have to realize that bad things sometimes happens to lead us to a different path. And that's sort of what's happened in my life. It's like a lot of bad stuff kept happening, and I fought through it. And because I fought through it, now I'm going a different path where things aren't as bad.
Mhm. Yeah, no, that's so true. So true. I think everyone you talked to in the last couple of years, if so many people I've talked to have lost anywhere from like 5 to 10 people. It's
Hmm.
been insane the last couple of years, right?
Yeah.
So and even on my show, like people my first talk show, like he was someone that passed, and I think it's been about 7 people on my show in the last 3 years. So when people say, you're just doing this little show here, like, what does it really bring? I look at those people that have come through my chat, or people that were on my talk show that passed away, or even my moderator, Steph One Love, right? That
Yeah.
most of you guys knew her,
Hmm.
or probably met her
Hmm.
in the Bay Area. So yeah, you never take those things for granted. You got to remember that, like, those people came through for a purpose and a reason, and I'm playing that music or just spending that time with them is extra special, right?
Hmm.
So yeah, we should always be more aware of that when we're doing our shows. It's not always about like the following and okay, pushing and striving, and sometimes we could be so caught up in that we forget that there could be people in our chat room like literally sitting in the hospital right now watching us, and we would never know, right?
Right.
Because they're
Until
going
they
to the
tell us.
parties
Yeah.
until they tell you. Yeah, exactly. So
Yeah.
just kind of being more aware of that, I think, is important. How are you
Yeah.
doing, Liddell, the DJ, and DJ Lex? And that kind of brings me, because I know you mentioned to me that it was mental awareness, like health awareness month as
Mm-hmm.
well, right? And the
Yeah.
stroke awareness month.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I definitely know, and I'm sure some people in this room know your story. I think it's an incredible story and journey that you've experienced, and like you said, I mean, sometimes trials brings us to uh, different places in life that we need to be, even though it sucks kind of going through a trial, right? But it gives you a different shift in perspective, right?
Yeah.
So if you can share a bit of your story or what happened, I think that would be great, for others in the room too.
Yeah, I mean, my stroke story is pretty straightforward. I mean, the pandemic hit, we were locked down, and before the pandemic, I mean, I was overweight. I weighed a lot more than I do now, but I was doing kickboxing. I was a bit more active, and then the pandemic hit, and I just stopped being active. So for me, it was a bit of a stressful time because all the money stopped, and then we jumped on Twitch, and not it wasn't really making too much money in the beginning at first, but it was something to do. And then I was just eating at home, and I was just eating. We were basically Uber Eats and everything. So I did gain a ton of weight. And then I ran out of my medications for high blood pressure. And then just kind of snowballed into, I just started getting sicker. And then, yeah, that day I got on a Wednesday, did my Latin stream. And 30 minutes into my stream, I'm DJing this same setup right here. And I'm noticing that I'm touching this record right here, and I can no longer feel it.
Oh
And
wow.
I'm like, oh, this is strange. So I'm doing this. I'm like, interesting. So I touch this one. I'm like, well, I could touch this and I could feel this, but this one. And then little by little, I'm like, this something isn't right, and I'm starting to feel a little like woozy. So then, I do this. I did that, and I have a button, so it basically kills my camera, and then I have another button that sends a rate. So I sent a rate out, and then that's when I realized I was having a stroke. Like
Wow. It's
it got
crazy.
really really precarious really fast. And it might sound funny, but I was thinking to myself, if I'm gonna die on camera, I'm not gonna do it on Twitch, like because
No.
like I don't know, it just the way things are these days, like everyone's always filming everything that's happening,
For
like
sure. Yeah.
yeah. So I just said I'm gonna kill the camera, but yeah, so I pretty much passed out. My whole like left side went limp, my face went limp, and then yeah, I passed out. The doctor said I was clinically dead for about a minute and a half, almost 2 minutes. Which
Wow.
in my own mind, like to me, it felt like I got taken out of this planet and then brought back within 2 minutes. Because I was just kind of like, oh shit, is this it? Is this it? Is this it? Oh no. And it was a weird feeling because I'm laying there. The
Mhm.
only thing that can move in my body are my eyes. Like I'm like telling my hands, like, yo, hands move, nothing. Legs move, nothing. I'm like, oh shit. And then
Mm.
I lost consciousness. And then it was one of those things where I lost consciousness. And then at some point I'm like, like, and I don't know what it was, but it was something telling me to like get to that door because I'm in my room here and there's a door over there. So it was basically like, uh, I was basically yelling at myself. Like my conscience was yelling at me to move. Like, you
Mhm.
better move, you better move. You're not gonna die on Twitch, bro. You better freaking move. You
Oh
didn't live all
wow.
this life to die on Twitch. It's just like me yelling at myself. And somehow I like mustered whatever energy I had and I crawled to that door, and my brother opened the door, and yeah, and I got taken to the hospital. And it was just one of those just surreal moments in life. Clarky says my aunt had 4 strokes and she has very similar symptoms. Yeah, 4 of them. That's a lot.
That's good you were aware that it was a stroke, because most people aren't like aware of maybe a heart attack or like a stroke or
Yeah,
those symptoms?
yeah. With the stroke, there's a saying that's called "be fast." So basically, it's balance, eyes, face, arm, speech, and T stands for time to call 911. So basically, like, how's your balance? Because if you're having a stroke, your balance goes out immediately. So for me, like, if I stand right, like if I stand straight right now, I'm fine. But like
Hmm.
if I don't like tell my brain to do this, my body wants to do this. So immediately
Oh,
my
wow.
body just went like that, and I'm like, okay, that isn't right. And then my eyes started going, and yeah, it's like almost like a step by step process. So if you meet the first two or three, or you have like the numbness in your arm, then yeah, that's why it's called be fast. And then your speech goes, because apparently I was speaking, but I was speaking gibberish.
Hmm.
So yeah, that's how you know something, like, something went wrong with the computer. Like your Serato crashed. It's literally how I tell people. Yeah, my Serato crashed really hard. So
Hmm.
yeah.
Wow.
hmm
So then, like with recovery, I'm sure it's been like a process, right? It's been about 2 years since that happened.
It's been almost yeah, I think going on 3 years.
Oh,
Three,
three
three,
years.
three going. Yeah, it happened December 30th, 2020. So what? 21, 22, 23. Yeah, almost 3.5 years. So
So do
yeah.
they say like with your recovery, it probably take like, and I'm sure with DJing, like it's probably even more, right? It's more effort. If like, are you standing or sitting when you're DJing, or you're
I mean,
standing?
for the most part now, I mean, it was mainly the first 2 years that were the toughest, because
Mm-hmm.
um, I was having trouble walking around. Like the first 6 months, I really couldn't walk around. And the toughest thing that I dealt with, I think this has a lot more to do with the way things are with the healthcare system.
Mm-hmm.
But my stroke happened in the middle of a pandemic.
Yeah, that's crazy.
So it was, they basically refused to send me to therapy because of COVID. So, but the person that I am, and especially everybody that came to my support, pretty much, like, they, all the Twitch community, the DJ community came together, and it was incredible. Like, all these DJs took over my channel, and they're like, we're gonna stream on your, during your normal streams, and all the money is gonna go to help you. Like, you just get better, and it was kind of cool. So what I ended up doing was, I wasn't going to take that for an answer, because these doctors were like, well, we want to send you to therapy, but we're in the middle of a pandemic. It's not like we could just send you to go to therapy. So that's
Mm-hmm.
why I looked at it like, so you mean to tell me I'm just going to sit here or just lay here and just kind of wither away? And they're like, well, there's nothing we can do for you. And to me, it was like, I've always been the type of person that I always fight for what I believe in.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, nah, that's bullshit. Like, I could guarantee you I can get therapy. And so I did. I got the first, it was online therapy, and then I found a good, specialist here that I work with here in Union City where I live. And so pretty much all of my therapy wasn't the doctor's prescribed therapy, it's the therapy that I sought out for myself. And that's just the messed up thing about I'm not going to say just the American healthcare system, but it's the healthcare system in all the countries, right? Like,
Mm-hmm.
I learned the hard way that for the most part, and it wasn't just me, other stroke survivors, you go to the hospital, they keep you there as long as they want, as long as they can keep you there, then they send you home, and there's really nothing else afterwards. So we're all just kind of left, to our own devices, like.
Mm-hmm.
But I just wasn't gonna take that for an answer. I remember the next day after I suffered the stroke. So this was New Year's Eve, and I remember the doctor came in, and he's like, "I have some very bad news for you, Mr. Mendez." I'm like, "Yeah, what's that?" And he's like, "You're never gonna walk again." I just looked at him, and I'm like, "Bullshit! I'm gonna walk out of here in a week." And I literally, I mean, I didn't really like walk at 100%, but I walked at least from my bed to my wheelchair. Like
It's
I was,
amazing.
yeah, like I'm not gonna take that for an answer.
For
Like
sure.
my like I'm not, I'm not gonna take that. No, no, I'm not gonna walk again. Bullshit. I'm walking out of here. So
Mm-hmm.
pretty much I defeated all the odds. All the odds have been against me with that, and like I just wasn't gonna allow that. So I took what I did get from all the support that I got, and put it back into my own therapy, my own healing, and sort of just took an independent approach, and it worked out.
Mm-hmm.
I'm in a much better place. Obviously, I'm going to be dealing with this thing forever, because I It's just something that I know that I'm going to be dealing with forever. Like I have some days that are really good where I feel fine, and some days where I feel like I got hit by a truck. But I'm here, and there's other people that have died. I've met DJs that have like died, of their first stroke and immediately died. So I'm in a very unique place, and I'm grateful for every moment, But I just wasn't gonna take that as an answer. So,
Yeah. No, that's
like,
awesome. It sounds
yeah,
like you have great faith too. Most people would just take a diagnosis or something from the doctor, but miracles happen. I don't believe, even if a doctor's like you're going to have to live like this for your whole life. I don't believe that. Like, miracles happen and things can change around very quickly. And look how fast they have for you. You're streaming and that's incredible.
yeah.
It really is. Yeah. We got DJ D Real says he's driving and listening.
Hey, T Real, he's here in the Bay Area. So is Chris Leo. Hell yeah, they're all homies out here. They all both stream also on Twitch. So definitely give them a follow.
Yeah, for sure. Good to see you guys. Thanks for coming through. Let's see. It's so true. So, and yes, Cami DJ says, glad you were able to walk again. Yes,
That
for
was the
sure.
that was the toughest. That was probably one of the toughest things. Like just not being able to walk normal. Um, yeah, that was yeah, because they literally thought you're gonna be wheelchair bound. Nah, I'm not. I never saw that in my bingo card. Like nope, no, it ain't gonna happen. And I worked hard. And thankfully my family, my brother, my sister-in-law, may she rest in peace. They really took good care of me and took me to all my things.
Hmm.
And I knew things were getting better when I finally was able to start driving, on my own, because I was dealing with like dizziness a lot. And then
Hmm.
when the dizziness sort of subsided, I'm like, okay, I could be independent. Now I could drive myself to the appointment instead of having my family take me, And it's like those little gains, those little goals. Like my goal this week is to try to drive the car to the appointment, like it doesn't seem like a lot to others, but to you, it's like grandiose,
Yeah,
And
that's
that's,
huge.
yeah.
It's definitely
So,
huge. So, going through everything that you've gone through, how has it actually kind of changed your outlook in entertainment or the way you do things kind of moving forward? I'm sure, there's a lot of things you thought about after everything that happened.
yeah.
But, has something changed for you, just the way you kind of view things or just being in entertainment after
Yeah.
that happened?
Honestly, I have to approach life once again. I mean, you're gonna hear me talk about gratitude a lot. Gratitude has a lot to do with the things, but I have to think health first with anything and everything. If it means I'm gonna do some high end event, like I just have to make sure that I'm rested, that I've taken my meds, that I'm not putting too much pressure on myself again. And that's the crazy thing because as DJs, we thrive under pressure. I don't know
Mhm.
what
For
it
sure.
is.
Yeah.
Like we were like, well, we don't want no pressure, but immediately throw ourselves into a pressure situation because that's literally what it is. Every time mix a song and you're gonna throw in the next one, it's always like that pressure. Like, is it gonna work? Is it not gonna work? And you're just like, you gotta do it. So yeah, I have to approach life with my health first. Like,
Mhm.
and also just what really matters in at the end of the day is your health and your family. You know what I'm saying? Everything else is second nature. You know what I mean? I think a lot of people tend to put too much emphasis on money or clout or their place in society. Because at the end of the day, all of that could go away if you don't have a family or a career or your health. And your health is very important. Something that many of us have taken for granted. One of the best things that I think I could have ever done in my life was once the pandemic began, I actually stopped drinking
Mhm.
because I
That's
was
great.
I mean, I drank on and off most of my life, but
Yeah.
even the doctors had said like, um, had I kept drinking during the pandemic and the way people were drinking, especially that first year, I more than likely would have died. So, like, one of my biggest saving graces is the fact that I didn't do alcohol, and the reason I didn't do alcohol is because I knew I was going to be in the same house with my sister-in-law, my brother, and I have just the utmost respect for my family, so I wasn't going to put them through that because obviously I put them through a lot while I was a drinker. I mean,
Mhm.
I remember my 40th birthday in 2019. I couldn't even make it up the stairs to my
That's
house.
crazy. Yeah, that's
Like,
crazy.
and I just remember my brother looking at me like, "Why do you do this to yourself?" And it's sort of one of those things like, Yeah, I often wonder why I do this to myself. You
Plus,
know.
when
So
you're 40, I think it hits you way harder than probably if you were 20.
right.
So
Yeah.
we should take care of ourselves. Like, that's the thing that I really do not like about the industry, or maybe sometimes I see shows online. It's like people are constantly encouraging your following that you think absolutely loves you,
Mm.
but they're like encouraging you to drink till you drop, and they're
Yeah.
laughing at people passing out, or
That's
like, but the person could be literally unconscious and you're literally sitting there watching it streamed and you're laughing at it. Like for me,
yeah.
I'm like, nah, man, those aren't friends. You could take that following and
It's
put it
I've
somewhere else, because I just don't like that. I've seen certain shows where it's gone kind of scary, and I'm just like, this isn't cool, man. Like, you don't know if this person's unconscious or if this person
yeah.
needs help, you know?
Everyone has a different opinion about that. I'll be clear with mine. I don't like toxicity and I don't like toxic culture. And I just hate
Hmm.
that today toxicity is so celebrated. You know,
Yeah,
obviously
it
I'm not
is.
gonna judge people on what they do. If you want to be a drug user, go ahead. If you want to drink, that's cool. I'm not judging anybody, but I just feel like
Hmm.
everyone in general could do at least one thing a day that will, you know, elongate your life and your health. And that's it.
Yeah, we
You
got to
know,
we got to at this
you
age.
know.
We're not, I mean, I feel it. I'm not 20 anymore. When you go out and you're standing for 6 hours, that's a lot for me. I'm like,
Right.
"Oh, man, my back, my bones are cracking and everything."
It's getting
So,
to the point where like I tell usually like I'll go to a venue or an event and they're like, what do you think of the equipment? Oh, the equipment is great. The equipment is great, but do you have like a good stress mat? Like, why am I stressing that more than the mixer?
I
Like,
bring my mat. I
yeah.
bring it everywhere. My big Costco mat. They're like, "Oh," some people laugh. They're like, "Oh, you got a mat." Even at Holt Renfrew, anywhere I go, I'll like bring my big, huge. I don't even care if I look stupid. I'm bringing
Fab
my
Forte
runners,
with the squat redemption.
and
That's
the soles are
hilarious.
like this thick on the runners, guys, and my
Yeah.
big the mat. Yeah, I like to be comfortable. Yeah, it's Fab Forte
What up,
says
Fab Forte? What's up, man?
rather do a squat redemption,
Yeah,
which
he'll
is
do
true.
squat redemptions on his channel.
But they'll kill you. They'll kill. I've done those squats and those weights. They'll kill you on that too if you don't have a cap on it. They'll make you do like 100.
Everything within reason,
Yeah.
obviously. Yeah.
So what advice would you like offer streamers and DJs, especially in self-care? Because a lot of times, like you said, we're rushing, we're running on pure adrenaline, we're working long hours, we're probably not eating and drinking as right as we should, even drinking enough water.
Mhm.
So like what would you kind of tell other streamers and DJs that are doing this just for self-care, how to kind of take care of yourself a bit better?
Honestly, like my closest friends, especially the people that are in this chat, like they know me. Like I give myself a lot of downtime. You have to try to give yourself some downtime. So yeah,
Mhm.
ergonomics are a real thing, especially when you're 6'3". Yeah, D real
That
knows.
that's not really for me. I'm only 5'1", so I'm
Yeah.
okay with that. 6'3". Oh man, you must be ducking your back.
Yeah.
back
With
like
him, he
crazy.
probably needs to elevate the decks. Yeah, I've
Oh
seen that
yeah,
happen too.
elevate
Yeah,
the decks. You're
yeah,
right, because
yeah.
they're
Because
probably so low for
hmm
him.
right.
Yeah. But hey, derail, you can slam dunk. Some of us can't do that. We're not privileged to do it. But you could slam dunk without even jumping. That's amazing.
Quick,
Six
quick,
three.
quick, quick sidebar. You speak French?
Uh, I just je m'appelle
Oh,
DJ Honeyflow. That's it.
okay. Yeah,
I
because
don't remember my
I just saw him
français.
say Madame Bonsoir.
Yeah, I don't really remember too much French, you guys. I stopped
Okay.
in grade 8. Yeah, I wish I
Bonsoir,
could.
mon chéri. Je m'appelle DJ AUDIO1.
Hey,
Avec
you
San
know
Francisco Bay
French too?
Area.
You know
A little
français
bit.
a little bit? Yeah, because isn't Spanish and French a little bit like overlapping? I heard
Yeah, they're like
a
love
lot of French
languages.
people could understand a lot of Spanish.
Yeah, same with Portuguese too.
Oh, yeah, Portuguese as well. Oh, nice,
Yeah.
nice. Oh yeah, you're okay. Yeah, you're right. DJ Derail says DJ setups are always way low. That's so true. Oh, naps are great. Yeah, what do you guys suggest as DJs and streamers? What do you guys suggest just to keep self-care going? Drop it in the chat if you guys have
Mhm.
any suggestions. That would be great.
Naps are
Um,
great. Yeah.
how you doing this girl, Xtina? Make sure you guys add her. She does an amazing playlist show. We got DJ Derail and of course Real, I should say, and OG Raji, Margulis, lots of great streamers. It's Fab Forte. Yeah, so make sure you guys are definitely connecting, adding each other. Cami DJ, So many in the building. So thanks for coming
Right.
through. If you guys have any questions, definitely drop them in the chat too.
Yeah, we got time.
Now we're going to go back to we were talking about memorable events earlier. I'm curious if you've had any worst events. I know you have over the years, like any
Mm.
crazy kind of, if it's like working with a bride, like a bridezilla, or your equipment crashing, or that person asking for Britney Spears like a million times, or Taylor Swift. I don't know.
I've had my good share of things like that. But nothing that I like allow it to like keep me awake at night. Probably my worst experiences was when I've had to DJ for rap groups, and especially groups from my area. Um, I'm gonna say this respectfully, like rappers have some of people think that DJs have got big egos. Rappers have the biggest egos on the planet, and they will get very offended if you don't know their music.
Hmm.
Now, my situation was I was a resident at a few different clubs, and they would bring in rappers to do their sets, right? But those rappers never came through with like a thumb drive with their music or anything, and so then you're kind of expected to like, hey, play this song and this song, but it's like if I don't even know your music, how am I supposed to know, right? So
Hmm.
I had a few instances with some local rappers from the Bay Area where they almost came at my head because I didn't know their music. Like, how can you say you're from the Bay? You don't know this. I'm like, well, I don't. I only play, and I said this with all due respect, I play music from established artists that I could hear on the radio or I could pull up on the internet. Like, and that wasn't a slight towards them, because they probably are putting in their work, but they normally wouldn't be on my radar. I was just in a situation where I'm playing the music, the venue or the promoter is bringing you in. The least you can do is, or at least you have your own DJ come through, or bring me a thumb drive with your music. Don't expect me to have it. So in those situations, it's sort of like, in many ways, like those situations, those rappers and their teams were like bridezillas in a sense, you know?
Bridezillas. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's what you should
like
call them. What do you say? I know DJD Real, that is so true. I can't stand that. Can you play that? Can you plug in my phone? It's like crazy. What do you say to that if people are like, can't you just play this song off of my phone?
oh yeah, rapzillas. That's what Margilla
Do you
said.
explain to them it's just not compatible with my software? Like, I feel like I don't even know how to get into it with people when they ask you
Honestly,
this stuff, you know?
many years ago, a pre-pandemic, I would like to troll or like argue with people.
Hmm.
Now I'm very diplomatic. I'm just like, listen, I can't plug in your phone. Well, can't you download it? You have a computer. It's not
Yeah.
connected to the internet. I'm like, if I connect it to the internet, the music stops. I'm sorry. I'm not going to stop the party just because of you. So normally I just tell people I'll see what I can do. And
Yeah.
usually I'll see what I can do means I'm probably not going to play it. But yeah, Fat Force 50 says sometimes artists don't want to hear their own songs.
Yeah. So true. How you
Yeah.
doing, Father Damien? Good to see you.
Hey, Father Damien. Father Damien,
Yeah,
definitely a
the
champion, a legend. He's been there with me during some very dark moments. I've had some
I love that.
conversations with him when I was in some bad places in life, and really grateful for that. Thank you, Father Damien. And yeah, I see January Winters in here as well. Joanna, aloha. How you doing, Joanna?
Joanna, good to see you. Oh, that's good. I love that. Yeah, he's definitely a great resource for anyone. Just go to Father Damien,
Yeah, Sonia
hit him up.
Facial.
You'll listen. How you doing, Sonia? Good to see you. Yes, nowadays, thumb drives can get messy. I remember being on Dundas Square, a big stage out here is kind of
Yeah.
like Times Square, and
Mm-hmm.
I had to control, I think it was 20 or 30 artists. The whole day was a 12-hour day for me.
Mm-hmm.
And but a lot of them wouldn't didn't give me their music. So they're just like, okay, we're going on in like 2 minutes. Like, can you have this ready? And I'm like, you guys literally want me downloading the music when I'm on stage and I'm trying to play right now, right? And I
Right.
didn't have a choice. I had to figure you have to figure it out. If you have so many people coming at you, you
Mm-hmm.
have to just like figure it out and just get it done. And even if there's issues, um, but it was kind of a funny day because you would have the audio guy, being like, cut it, because they're on like a very strict timeline. So
Mm-hmm.
tell you to get the artist off the stage, And then he'd be like, no, 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 bring them back, bring them back. So I'd be like, oh my gosh, you keep doing this the whole entire time to me, right?
Yeah.
So I'd be like, does everyone want an encore? I'm like, anyone want to see the band again? Like I would just make up something to get people clapping and cheering.
Yeah.
And that was like multiple times on stage. So yeah, it was
Yeah.
brutal.
So yeah,
You
those sort of events happen, and then I just vowed to myself, I'm not gonna play at venues where they're gonna bring these types of acts. So again, like I mentioned, I pivot every few years, but
yeah.
yeah, but like just knowing how, believe it, I mean, you tell me if I'm right or wrong. It seems like people are way more aggressive post pandemic than they were before.
Yes,
Like people just like
100%.
they're ready to rip into you for whatever
People
reason.
say whatever they want now, but it's like that online too. It's like that everywhere now. Have you guys not noticed that? Anywhere you go, Instagram,
Right.
Facebook, like it's like, would people say that to your face? But actually, the crazy thing is people do say those things to your face now. I don't know what it is. People have definitely become changed a lot and become a little bit more aggressive for sure.
It's aggressive, but aggressive, but also like insensitive. Almost like people have been desensitized to many things, right? Like
Hmm.
to us, a lot of stuff kind of goes over our heads, but people seem bothered now when you don't play their music, you know. And it's just like
Hmm.
like when I've tried to tell people like, hey, relax, just go get a drink. Trust me, I'm gonna like. Do you not trust me? No, I don't trust you. I don't know you. So if you don't trust me, then why are you gonna ask me to play something?
Yeah,
You
they're
know, like.
definitely more rude. Let's see, how you doing, DJ Jonah? Great to see you.
Mhm,
Um, yes, yeah, that's what it was. We talked about that earlier, DJ Jonah.
mhm.
Your comment there. Yeah, I think people are just very intense too. Lots of things have changed, right? Inflation and
Yeah.
prices, and just like a lot of things being locked down somewhere or caged somewhere inside for a while, right?
Right.
So I think maybe that's changed people's attitudes like a
Yeah.
little bit going out DJing, you know? But
But yeah, when it comes to like requests and things like that, I think I've taken more of a diplomatic approach. I'm just like, yeah, sure, I got you, no worries. Like I try to be good about it, even if I don't like the song or I don't like the artist. But it's a very interesting career because in real life you don't want to become a people pleaser, but in your career you sort of have to be a people pleaser,
yeah, I feel
right?
like,
Yeah.
do you think all DJs are people pleasers a little bit? I don't know. I think
I feel like we
I'm a
have,
people pleaser. I
yeah,
need to work on that.
yeah. I think most humans are, in a sense we are, but in the career you sort of have to, because what I've learned is that you can't make everybody happy and you can't beat yourself up over it. And I find that
Mhm.
many DJs beat themselves up and like, man, I didn't get this audience, I didn't get this crowd, and they were pissed. I'm like, but at the end of the night, man, like you should just be grateful you got through it. You know, be grateful that you're getting paid to do this. You know what I'm saying? I think DJs tend to forget that all the time because there's so much complaining out there, right? Like,
Yeah,
you
so
know,
true.
but
And
yeah.
that can mess with your head too, right? Like you could
Mm-hmm.
have like 500 people that love you, like they love you, they're cheering, they're doing great, and then you'll have that one guy that's like right there and saying how much it sucks, or but
Right,
yet you play his requests and he isn't even on the dance floor. You're like, "Okay, if I play your request, then you got to make sure you come on the dance floor."
right,
And it's like they don't even come on the dance floor. They're just there to complain,
right.
but that one person, I don't know if it does that with you, or if
Um,
you're okay with that, you just let it go. Like you could please a crowd, but that one person will kind of might knock you off
I used to
your
let it
game.
bother me a
Yeah.
lot, and
Yeah.
I think honestly, coming back post stroke and then post pandemic, like I've slowed down a lot. So
Hmm.
for me, I really just can't be under stress because stress can cause another stroke. So I always keep
Hmm.
that in mind. So I just don't let it. You know, people are like, well, fuck you then. All right, cool,
Hmm.
man. Have a good one.
Hmm.
You know, that's sort of how I look at the world. Because some people, every once in a while,
True.
somebody will try to get in my face. I'm like, so I always stand like this. I always kind of keep my hands in front of me, and I'm just like, all right, man, have a good day, bro. Like,
Wow.
because they, it's
Yeah.
like, because then to me, it's sort of like hopefully they'll see how much of an asshole they are when somebody's like, all right, man, you have yourself a blessed day. You
For
know, like,
sure. Yeah.
damn, like this motherfucker got me. You know, but
And you don't even know what people are going. I think when you start realizing what people are going through, like that's what I'm learning. Everyone is broken. Everyone is going through something in life.
one
I
hundred
don't care
percent.
how perfect they are,
Mm-hmm.
how much they smile in front of the gram, how much they're a video girl. I don't care. I see past all of that.
Yeah.
But I do know that everyone is broken. So when you kind of look at that, okay, the guy just gave me road rage or blasted me for no reason. You realize that maybe he lost his son that day. Maybe he's angry at something. You know what I mean? Like everyone's
Right.
going through something. So it kind of gives you a little bit more grace to try to let it go and just be like, that's not even your issue. That's their issue. Like something must have happened, right? For them to be so angry.
Yeah.
So that's good that you do that. You take a different approach now. Like that's really good. And
Yeah.
don't sweat the small stuff. Like,
I'm an empath and I'm good with vibes, so I really could tell like when somebody's tense or not. I that's the beauty about being sober for me now. Like I could walk into a
mhm,
venue and I'm sober, but I could see everybody. I could see if people are having a good time or a bad time. You know what I mean? And I could see, and it's
mhm.
kind of crazy because like we could see people come in when they're sober, and then when they're really smacked, and then you're just like, wow, what a difference. You know what I mean? Like, because everyone looks like little like junior high kids at a school dance at first, but at the end of the night, it's like you can't even get them out of there. Like, but yeah.
Yeah, actually, this is a great question. I like this one. DJ D Real says, how are you choosing what spots to work based on your new reality? So basically, after you had the stroke and getting back. And actually, that's a really great question, too. Are you being selective in kind of where you work or what you do?
100% selective. Really, what it came down to was my pivot has been half of my work. Before, I was mainly doing clubs, the club scene, the nightlife scene. And now I'm sort of in between. So my work, I want to say 50% of my work is in nightlife and the other 50 is in corporate and private. I'm actually trying to make that even greater now. So when it comes to spots or work, um, it's trusting the venue or trusting the people that I work with. So I really only work with a few venues, and it's because I trust the people that I'm working with and they trust me. They're not
Mhm.
going to sweat the small details. Like most of these venues don't even care that I promote, which is crazy because most venues want you to promote and they want you to put flyers up. And with me, it's just like, hey, we've known you for years. And that's sort of the good thing. I built these relationships over decades. So they're like, hey, we know you're going to kill it. Just do your thing, like, you know. But
Mhm.
honestly, I try to work in venues, honestly, that are not like super like heavy. Like it's not like peak hour vibes all the time. I don't mind playing like a brunch party where it's literally you just playing to a bunch of people eating lunch. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Like that kind of thing. So um, sometimes my gigs are not that like exciting, but it's something to do. So for me, it's sort of a balance. I want to have those nights where everybody's raging, and then those events where everybody's super chill as well. So that's where like the corporate work kind of helps, because in the corporate work world, you're literally playing a club set to a bunch of people that are in these conferences all day. So no one ever bothers you. You just kind of do your thing. So
Yeah, I love the corporate. What
mhm.
what do you think of weddings, or do you think weddings can be just as stressful as like a club? Like club would be high pressure,
Yeah,
right?
they
But
they
like
they can be. I've actually been doing more corporate, more high end weddings. I'm actually doing one in July, and
nice.
so I'm open to that lane as well. But
Mhm.
it can be stressful. It just depends on, again, it's the whole planning, meeting the couple, and just kind of planning ahead, and just being ready for anything.
Yeah, for sure.
But obviously, just like a corporate, just like a wedding, you're only gonna play for a few hours, so it's literally you just doing your part. Everyone else does their part. But
Yeah.
yeah.
Now, were you the one that organized? Actually, I don't even think I knew that. Are you the main one that organized the Boom Bap Mondays?
So that was something that it's DJ Fly and myself. So DJ Fly is
Oh,
from
nice.
Allentown, Pennsylvania, and so
Okay.
we've been friends before the pandemic, and then we all just happened to start streaming at the same time. And him and I had a conversation about the Wake Up Show, the show that like Alex Mejia like sort of helped kick off in this early days. And they had a DJ on there named DJ Revolution. He actually streams on Twitch, DJ Revolution SOE. And on Friday nights, I'm, 16, 17, 18. I'm listening to him on KMEL, and back east, Young Fly is listening to him in that show, in the radio station in Philly. And we just ended up finding we had so many other things in common outside of club music that, we just decided, hey, why don't we do this thing where like you jump on for 2 hours, play your favorite hip hop joints, and then I'll go on for 2 hours and do my favorite hip hop joints, and it literally just cascaded from there to like next month. It's gonna be the 4 year anniversary that we've been pretty much every Monday for the past 4 years. So,
Oh,
but yeah,
wow. That's dope. Yeah. It's blew up too really
yeah,
well.
he organizes all of that. In the beginning, I had something more to do with it. Like he just handles all of it. I'm pretty much just like I'm almost like an ambassador, just like I am with Beats for Hope. You know,
Hmm.
like people like look at me and they know Beats for Hope, Boom Bap Mondays. You know, and which is funny too because Boom Bap Mondays is very hip hop centric, but
Yeah, it
like
is. Yeah.
outside of like Twitch, like most of my work, I'm either playing pop or EDM music. You know,
Really
yeah. So
interesting.
it's like this duality. Same thing with
Yeah.
Fly. Like Fly owns a wedding like DJ company, so he does a lot of like corporate. He does a lot of weddings outside of Twitch. So a lot of people know us for the hip hop stuff, but yeah, we play everything. So
Oh, nice. Oh, snap. I just missed this.
hmm.
DJ J Jonah. Thank you for the sub. Appreciate that. Or that was 10 minutes ago. Sorry about that. Oh shoot. I think something's happening. You guys could still hear us, hopefully. Thank you,
Yeah,
Jonah, for the sub. Appreciate you and the follows. Make sure everyone in the room is adding DJ Audio 1 for the one person that doesn't know him in the room. Make sure you're adding him. I see this girl Xtina and DJ B Stang
Beast,
coming in.
happy belated
Jonah
birthday,
as
sir.
well. Oh, happy birthday. Let's see. Oh, we got Arch Fluffy in the building
Yeah,
that came
that's one of
through.
my day ones on my channel, Arch Fluffy.
Nice. And Blade is Truth. She's an
Yep.
awesome gamer. Make sure you guys are adding her.
She's a moderator too. I met her through
Oh,
Don
is
Perrin
she?
Young. So yeah,
Look at her. She's moderating for everyone.
And Don's part of
Celebrity
the Boom
mod.
Bap Mondays family. Yeah,
Yes, Dawn. Yeah, she's an amazing DJ too. Oh, we got DJ Brother. Is it Brother Reese?
DJ Brother Reese. He is a legend in the San Francisco Bay Area. Truly bona fide legend right there. So when I think about legends, I think about Alex Mejia and I think about Brother Reese. They're the generation of DJ before me. So
Hmm.
in the Bay Area, we have like the generations from like the 70s and then the 80s, the 90s. So while I was coming up those first 10 years, these were the guys that I was listening to and looking up to. And it's crazy that decades later, like we're all in the same place
All
together.
together. Isn't that
Yeah.
crazy? That
Hmm.
is really crazy. You never know who's on Twitch, right? You never know who you're going to connect with. I've heard incredible stories like who's on Twitch, and you just never know who's watching, I guess, right? We got KGB DJ. Good to see
Yeah.
you as
He's also
well.
on Twitch as well. Give him a follow.
Oh,
He's
wow.
amazing. He
Lots of
plays.
new DJs in here I haven't seen
Yeah.
yet.
I think they saw the promo today.
Oh, okay, DJ B Stang and everyone else. Thanks for coming through, you guys. Yeah, if you have any last minute questions, definitely drop them in the chat. So do you have any funny any funny stories that you could think of that happened either on your show or DJing, streaming, radio, anything that was kind of
Oh,
funny?
there's all kinds of stories. I mean, it really depends what you're looking for. So.
But clean, clean,
Oh yeah. I mean,
PG funny.
yeah. I mean, I think the funniest things that can happen is when you ask a question and you just get crazy returns. Like I'll just mention something and then it'll just devolve. Like where everything, the whole chat, everything at two a.m. stories exactly, right?
2
Like
a.m. stories.
yeah. So
What's that? 2 a.m. stories.
yeah,
That sounds a bit spicy. I
it
don't
can
know.
be it can be at times, I guess. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Honestly, I can't think of any specific stuff because there's just so many different
Yeah, there's
things.
so many.
Like, I mean, for me, I think the funniest moments is when there's technical difficulties and we just roll with them.
Mhm.
So I've had like my lights turn off. I had the big main light die on me once, and then like I'm like, you know what? We're just gonna have a dark stream now. Like because most DJs would have been like, oh, I'm gonna stop because if I turn that light off, you can see my green screen. The visuals don't work anymore. But we just ran with it.
Oh,
I want
man.
to I want to think in the past 6 months, I did have a moment where before that light ended up dying for good. I was playing a song by Fred again and Skrillex, and it's called "Turn on the Lights," right?
Mhm.
So while it's playing, and then all of a sudden, in my mind, I was like, wouldn't it be funny if that light would just turn off? Because I have to physically walk over there and press the button to turn it on and off. So it was like, turn on the lights. And again, in my head, I just said, wouldn't it be funny if that light would turn off? And immediately the light turns off. And we
Oh,
just
that's
we
crazy.
made a whole moment about it. You know, the music doesn't stop exactly, but yeah, we made a whole thing about it. Like, hey, I manifested that into life. If you don't believe manifestation, I manifested for that light to turn off, and surely it did. So
That
yeah,
is
so
crazy. Yeah,
yeah.
that's actually super crazy. I think the craziest thing that happened to me was like I actually have it on my Instagram, guys. There's a huge tree, like a massive tree when I was doing my talk show.
Mhm.
It cut out the power on all of us. It actually came slamming down in front of my house. Like
Whoa,
it blocked the whole street. It was like a huge, huge tree. And I don't know if it what is it? Lightning, thunder, one of those two hit
lightning,
it.
yeah.
Yeah, probably lightning hit it and it split. And you should see the tree is like I don't even know how big. It's massive, and it just hit all the power lines in front of my place. And I was doing my talk show then. Thank God it didn't hit my car. It would have been done. But that
But
was kind of
there's
unique.
video of it.
Yeah, well, I don't have a video of it, like, actually breaking, but
Oh, okay.
I went out and everyone was warning me. They're like, "Honeyflow, stop going near the power lines," because 'cause they're all down, and I'm taking a video
That's
walking around.
wild.
They're
Yeah.
like, "Don't touch the power line, don't go around it," because 'cause I'm walking, I'm stepping over power lines, and then you see this big, huge tree. I'll send it to you on my Instagram. It's, like,
Okay.
massive. I'm like, "What are the chances?" Right? But my car could have been parked there. I could have driven in. You never know, right, what life will bring. And I definitely think we have angels like watching over us for sure.
Yeah.
You know, yeah, definitely. Um, so, if you could collaborate with anyone, who would that be? Whether they're here or they passed away, like, is there any artist that you have in mind that you would love to collab with?
Not anybody at the moment, because I'm not really thinking like the artist or producer right now.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, it's interesting because there was a time where I had like a list of people I wanted to work with. That was over 10 years ago. But
Hmm.
now, I mean, I'm not really thinking about that. Like, I think right now I'm working with the people I have to be working with. I work with Alex Mejia. I work with DJ Hino. Um, yeah, I really can't think of anyone. For me, it's more about meeting people because I've known a lot of people online, but putting like an actual face to a person's name in real life, I think that matters to me a lot. So just
Yeah,
meeting
I like
people,
that.
going out and meeting people. So, yeah, B Stang just said thank you. Oh man, I
That-
appreciate that.
That's
B
awesome.
Stang said something very important in here. He said, DJ AUDIO1 was one of the DJs who inspired me to stop drinking. Yesterday was my 1 month sober anniversary. So
Oh,
it's crazy. He just
wow.
had his birthday and he didn't drink on his birthday.
Congratulations.
So
That's
yeah,
amazing.
yeah,
Congratulations to you.
yeah.
Yeah,
That's a
and I know
big,
it
it's a
takes a
big
lot.
move.
Yeah, for sure. It
Yeah,
takes a lot. And you're probably going to feel so much different and better like each day as each day goes by, right? Like
right.
stronger and better and different. It must feel different. Does it feel different? Like, giving up drinking completely and like obviously you're probably more aware when you go out and you do events. Does it feel a bit weird or does it feel much better
I
giving
my
that up?
Yeah, for me, my life is completely transformed without drinking. And again, like I'm not gonna judge people if they do or not. Everyone
Mhm.
is an adult and they do what they want.
For sure. Yeah,
But for me,
everyone
health
does.
wise, it's the type of clarity I have right now compared to when I was drinking is like night and day. Because
Mhm.
there was a time in my life where I was drinking a lot, and I was just doing all kinds of wild things and like I'm like I can't do that anymore, and I just I didn't want to wake up hungover every day. That just I think like that when my brother he had those talks with me, like I'm like, yeah, I need to start slowing down. But thankfully I've always had a life where like I was able to pull myself away. It was just extreme situations that brought me back to drinking. So I just learned from the pandemic forward to like not even because even when I was in the hospital, like post stroke, like I'm like, man, I could really use a shot right now. But then I'm like, nah, you know what? I don't need that because I already know that's just gonna take me to a different place.
For sure. And it's
Yeah.
probably all mental. It's like with food, right? You're like, I don't need it. I'm not hungry, but I want it.
Yeah.
It's kind of the same thing with drinking too,
Yeah,
I'm
it's that
sure.
when you're Latin and there's so much good
Hmm.
food, yeah. I
Oh,
mean,
yeah.
I have to be very mindful of all of that. It's crazy, but
Yeah.
what I've learned is like, if it's a special occasion, go for it. You
Yeah,
know what
for
I mean?
sure.
You gotta treat yourself. So if I go travel, I go visit the homies like in L.A. or Vegas or wherever I go. Yeah, I'm gonna go and eat everything. But when I get back, I'm just gonna get back to my meal preps and just Even more recently, I actually finally gave up sodas. Like I had given up
Hmm.
sodas for a long time, and then somehow got back into them. But I just started noticing like a few months ago that they weren't doing me any good anymore. So then I just stopped and just went been all water or water with some light flavoring, and yeah, that's helped out a lot. So it's crazy how sugar, like how there's, especially
It's
in our
so
country. I don't know how it
addictive.
is in Canada. Yeah, like they have all these rules against really hard drugs, but yet they sell you cigarettes, they sell you alcohol, and then they sell you sugar and fat and everything. So, but they don't put anything, no warnings on any of that, right? So,
Yeah, it's in all our food. I mean, Canada's right behind you guys. Probably not as bad. We don't drink soda as like water.
right,
Hopefully, most of us don't as Canadians.
yeah,
But like, yeah, you do notice a difference when you go to the States, but it's still pretty bad here too, right?
yeah,
So, but it's a mindset. It's so hard shifting your mindset. I did a 40-day too, like no sugar processed, and it's like and fasting, lost 16 pounds. Like I've done it twice, but then your weight fluctuates
right,
going back to sugar, but sugar is so addictive. Like it just
right.
brings you back. But again, you're right. You got to enjoy your life too, right?
Everything
Everything in
within reason.
moderation. Yeah,
Yeah, everything
exactly.
moderation is key, and I think that's the thing that especially in the past like 10, 20 years, like for some reason our all cultures like are celebrating like just going above and beyond, like I'm gonna have one shot. Well, I'm gonna have two. Well, I'm gonna have three and four. It sort of becomes a contest, And I
Hmm.
noticed it in nightlife too. It's like if they're buying four bottles, they're buying eight. Oh, they bought eight. We're buying 16. It's just like it never ends, right? Like,
I was too cheap to buy any of that. I would just say it was my birthday to get a drink once in
right.
a while.
Well,
I'm like,
our pro
$5,
our pro
$20 for a drink. Forget
our
it.
problem was that they was just give us stuff
Oh, they would
like,
just give you guys? Oh,
yeah,
wow.
yeah,
Yeah, they
yeah.
don't give you
So
nothing out here.
yeah,
I DJ'd a different gig and they charged like close to $15 for one drink. That was a mocktail. There was no
yeah.
alcohol in there. I'm like, $15? I'm like, I'm DJing. I thought
Beast
you guys gave me this free drink. Jeez.
Beast Tank says, he says, Donut judge me, donut judge me."
Oh man, I know it's so hard. Oh, Krispy Kremes. Oh man.
DJ
Anyways,
Ali, what's up, man?
so Alex Mejia had a great question, and
Yeah,
this was definitely on my list earlier on here too. I think I skipped a bunch of questions, but
no
thanks for
worries.
reminding
I
me,
love
Alex.
donuts too, by the way. Yeah.
Yeah. He says, like, so basically, you teach as well,
Mhm.
DJing at Pyramid in San Francisco. So why don't you kind of let others know about that too? You've been instructing, is it going on 3 years now?
Almost 3
Really?
years,
Yeah.
yes. Yeah. So yeah, it's actually called Pyramid. So it's
Oh,
like
Pure Mind.
pyramid, but mind.
Oh,
Yeah,
oh,
yeah.
cool. Okay,
So
Pure Mind.
yeah, that opportunity was interesting. It's ironic. Alex Mejia actually brought me that opportunity.
Oh,
So
nice.
their former teacher had to leave, and they needed somebody to come in and fill in because it was like the third or fourth week into that term in their 12-week terms. So I'm like, let me give it some thought, and then they called me the next week. They're like, we could really need you in here, and then I went and took the interview. It was just something like it's like a bingo card of life thing. I never would have ever like thought about teaching,
Hmm.
and then it just I sort of was thrown into that the whole scenario, and it's been pretty rewarding, just using my real life experience. So the difference for us is that um, a lot of the DJ schools out there, a lot of at least the newer ones that I've seen, it's people that learn how to DJ, but they don't never had no real life experience.
Hmm.
I feel like you get the best learning from people that have been out in the field that can actually tell you what can go right and could go wrong at a gig. What things that can happen to your equipment. I think and also learning hands on because there's a million programs that you can do online. You can learn how to DJ on YouTube. You could learn just watching people on Twitch, but it's being it's the learning from somebody telling you exactly what each knob does, what each button does, like makes a world of a difference. So I think that was the difference between me and the last teacher that they had is that I have all this real life experience and I just use that, you know. I just kind of see where these students are when we start our first class. I ask everybody the question, what made you decide to come here, and if they have any experience or not, and we just take it from there. So I just sort of tailor the approach depending on where their skill level is. I honestly like teaching people that have never DJed before, but
Hmm.
if we do have people that have, it's sort of like, let me see where you're at, and then I could tell you what you're doing right or wrong, and just take it from there. So, but it's been really rewarding. It's something that I never thought about ever in my life, and it's been really transformative for me because I've been able to, like, turn what I've done into, like, just passing the knowledge to the next generation, because I keep saying it's all about this younger generation, but the reality is it isn't just the youth. I mean, there's older people that are learning. My youngest student right now is 15, and the oldest student I've had is 54.
Wow.
So
Amazing.
and she's a dentist, and now she's killing it, like
Crazy.
doing her own club events and stuff. So
Wow.
yeah, it's people of all ages, and it isn't just a younger generation, older generation. It isn't, some people just want to learn. um I just take an approach where most schools want you to just become a professional. I want people to, like, if you enjoy the music and you enjoy putting it together, then this is for you. Because if it's not for you, I'm not gonna force you. You feel me? So that's been my approach. But I just try to make it as fun as possible. You know what I mean? I think a lot of people find out very quickly, like that. 90% of the career is prep, and prep is boring as hell. People are like, I want to headline the gig. I want to be at the gig. I want to make the money. I want to get the girls and the guys and everything. But it's like, to get to that point, you got to prepare all of this stuff first. So that's usually where you lose like people in the first or second week. They're like, well, this isn't as fun as I thought it was. Like,
Yeah.
TikTok made everything look so much more fun. I'm like, it's fun, but you got to prepare ahead of time. So,
Yeah, that's so true. Very, very true. Um, oh, prep is cool, just not last minute.
right, right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that's very, very true. And you probably have to have a lot of patience for new people, like,
Oh, yeah.
because you're just probably like, because it's probably like the back of your hand, like so easy for you to do.
Right.
But, you probably have to have a lot of patience to go back to the basics and teach.
Hmm.
So what would you say to new DJs then? I think, well, you did kind of mention it. It's definitely prep work more,
Right.
right?
It's
Prepping.
literally, I preach prep more than anything, because it's just something that our problem, especially as DJs, is that we have so much access to so much music, right?
Hmm.
We could fill these laptops like full of music, but you got to ask yourself, do you need 100,000 songs? More than likely, you don't. Especially now with streaming, we have access to Beatport, BeatSource, we got access to Tidal, we have access to SoundCloud. Like, you technically don't need to keep a lot of physical music on you.
But
You
would
know,
you do that? I would still do it because I don't trust the Wi-Fi. Maybe the Wi-Fi
same.
is better in the States, but
I, I,
it's not good
I,
here.
I prefer physical,
Yeah.
or just having the actual files on the computer. I mean, um, but I think DJs love to hoard, and we just have to get out of that
Yes, we
hoarding
do.
mentality. So I make it a thing where, like, get a bunch of music, but listen to it, like, and see, like, from, like, I'll break it down. I'll give you what I do, and B Stang might agree, some of the other DJs will agree. Like, you'll download like 30 songs, you'll listen to them, and then you got to ask yourself, like, is this a banger? Is this something I intend on playing? Is this something, will it fit any of my events? And that's sort of how you have to look at things, not just have things because one popular song came out and now there's 50 remixes of it. You just have
Hmm.
to ask yourself, like, what do we need this for? Because when you're searching, you don't want to have 50 results. You only want to have 5 or 10 that actually matter. For
That's
most of
true.
us, it's like having a dirty version, having a clean version for these corporates and these weddings and these bar mitzvahs, right?
Hmm.
Like that, that's usually as far as it should go. If it's an intro or an original or a remix or a bootleg, it's really up to you. But it you can easily start drowning in a ton of music, and
You
there's just,
can. And I
you know
find people like to hear the originals, at least out here.
right,
They,
same
depending what
out
event you do, they don't like to hear a lot of mashups and a lot of different. I mean, I feel like they appreciate edits and different things on Twitch,
yeah.
but they like to kind of hear the originals. When you go back when you were young, you like to hear that when you were on radio and you heard that song played, right?
Hmm.
It's like you want to hear that version or hear that out. So I kind of look at that too, even with the younger kids and
Right.
what they kind of want to hear. So, and then also you are doing a syndicated national show too called Ghetto House Radio.
Right.
How's that going too? That's every Friday night, right? In the US?
It's every other Friday night. Yeah.
Okay.
It's very interesting. Honestly, it's pretty straightforward because I'm not actually in the radio station anymore. I actually
Mm.
haven't been in the physical radio station since 2018. But because all I really do is I create the mix and I send it to them, and then they pretty much like record their vocals, and then they send it out to the different stations. So it's pretty straightforward. But in 2008, I actually was given an opportunity to DJ on a local radio station called 194.9. And at the same time, Miles Medina, who's a big DJ, was on there. Panic City, a couple of others, Jay Espinoza. Um, so I've pretty much been working in and out of radio since 2008. You know, I've
Hmm.
worked at WOW 94.9, 99.7 now. I was part of a show called House Nation for many years. There was another show when dubstep was big. It was called Wobble Wednesdays. That was on Live 105. Yeah, and then somehow I came back to WOW 94.9, and then I got involved with working with Ghetto House. So I've been working with them since at least it's going to be 10 years next year. So
Wow. So are you
almost.
on the mic too, or are you doing
Or
the music? Like
originally,
background?
originally we would we would like get together. We did this on the other show before, where we would record our sets and then go to the studio and we would record like the voiceovers together, and then put the program together. Now I'm not in that sense. I'm really just putting the music together. So yeah.
Okay, nice. So DJ Brother Reese says, can you talk about your drum and bass and jungle?
Wow. So with all the different genres that I love playing, drum and bass and jungle is something that I've been playing since the '90s. So when got involved in the rave scene in the mid '90s, jungle and drum and bass is something that I fell for, and it's a genre that even now it's starting to become mainstream here in the North America. So it's fun. It's just very very high paced, super fast. We're talking 170 to 180 BPM. It's really energetic and fun. So again, it just shows you my love for music. I just love I just love playing music and having fun with it. So
Yeah, definitely. Awesome. Well, I know we're a little over. See, I told you it goes by fast, right? I don't know if you've
oh,
done a 2-hour interview. You still good too? I
oh
want
yeah,
to
I'm good on time. I
respect,
mean, yeah, I'm
respect
fine.
your time and
No, no,
everything.
I'm good. I'm not. Yeah.
Oh, okay. So yeah, Blade is True says, I never knew about drum and bass until I came to Twitch, but I love it. Oh,
Yeah,
interesting.
yeah.
Blade is True.
Dawn plays it on her stream as well. So yeah. So does
Oh,
High
okay.
Note and a couple other people. But yeah, shout out to Beats for Hope. Monica is in the building as well. So
Yes.
yeah.
Shout out to you, Beats for Hope. We got Hazel B in the building
Hi
too.
Hazel.
Good to see you. I think I missed a few other people that came in.
If
So
there's
I
some
apologize if I did.
if there's something that Twitch has been good about is music discovery. Is like when you meet these DJs and their communities, you start learning about all these different types of music, all these artists or songs that you forgot about. So in
Mhm.
the past 4 years, I've just learned so much about so many other styles of music, because it's something, if you try to get yourself into a genre, but if you find somebody that's already an expert and they could just kind of put you on game, and sometimes just by sitting there and listening for like an hour, you're like, okay, now I understand. Now I know what artists I like. So I like with High Note, like he'll start playing some house music, because I feel like I'm already like on game with a lot of house and EDM, but he'll play some
Mhm.
stuff. I'm like, I don't know where you got this, but I need this. So we're always putting each other up on game. So
Yeah,
yeah.
it's interesting country to country for sure. Like
Hmm.
just how different people, because I didn't realize how Lovers Rock was so popular in New Zealand. When I heard DJ Reminisce, I was
Hmm.
like, oh,
Yeah.
I have not heard of a lot of these Lovers Rock artists or any of these artists in New Zealand
Right.
until I went to his set, right? Or like, DJ Jonah with his house music and Latin house, getting more Latin house music. I
Right.
haven't really played that before, so that was super dope. I'm trying to
Right.
think Steppers music.
Hmm.
We don't really play a lot of that here in Canada, so it's kind of
Right.
nice like seeing. Do you notice big differences too when you're watching, say, Canadian DJs compared to American and British?
Yeah,
Like,
100%. And everyone
mm,
has their interpretation of things.
mhm.
So like with High Note, I've been really working with him for the past year, and he's really big. Like a lot of us consider him like he's really big on funk. So him and Alex Mejia are really big on funk and soul music. So he's put me up and even the audience on so many different artists, old and new. So that's sort of what I love about like just in different channels that you go to. Like you'll go to my channel, I'm gonna put you onto something, and you go to another person, they'll put you onto something. So yeah, she said something about her Shazam list is huge, right? The secret to my stream I used
Nice.
to collect more music. Yeah.
Do you guys do a lot of like what is it called? Like the lowrider music out in the West Coast? Is that what it's called?
I mean,
I don't even know
I don't
what
know if
it's
that's what
called.
it's called. I mean, whoever wants to
That's what I
correct it
had.
could say
Someone
it.
gave me a folder. They're like lowrider music. I was like, oh,
Oh, so you're talking about
okay.
like oldies, like yeah. I mean,
I don't know if it's oldies. I
or
don't know.
or
I don't
boogie
even
and
know the
funk.
name. Yeah, it's kind of like more funk, I would say, but it's
Yeah.
like that West Coast type of,
Yeah.
where like cars would be just driving, like driving and
Oh
cruising
yeah.
and listening to
Yeah.
the music. I don't know what you guys call it out there, but I just say West Coast music,
Yeah.
but I
West
like
Coast
it.
music.
I thought it was low rider
Low
music. I don't know.
rider.
Oh, there's my Canadian accent coming out, guys, I think.
I think,
Oh,
and
DJ High Note says it depends. Oh, Boogie Funk, is that what it's called? I don't
boogie
know.
funk. Yeah. Well,
Like
see
when I
that.
think of Rogers Zapp and like those type of guys, I mean they're older, but when I think of,
Yeah, that's like yeah, that's
that
real
kind of
funk right there.
funky,
Mhm.
yeah, sound, I like
Yeah,
that.
so you could go to like a channel like High Note or like OG Raji, and they they're big on that stuff. But I think it has to do with California as being one real big, like our we have a big like Mexican, Chicano, Latin American influence out here. So that influenced that music, and that's sort of the music
I
that
love it.
gravitated to the communities, at least back
Yeah.
then and even now, because now you have like parents who raise their kids on funk, and now there's these younger, especially when I went to visit High Note, he took me to a few events out in there, and down in Southern California. Not something that we don't, not that we don't have it in the Bay, but their scene is so much greater down in Southern California. Like not even the younger kids, they don't want to listen to rap or they will, but they listen to like actual funk and soul music. So we went to an event where these guys were literally playing like all funk all night on
Oh
actual
my
records,
gosh,
no
that'd be so
laptops.
much fun. That would
Yeah.
be crazy.
Hmm.
Yeah. It'd be really dope going to like one of your car shows out there and
Hmm.
seeing all the cars, like all of them pulling up, with the hydraulics and
Yeah.
everything, and then playing the funk. Oh my gosh, I
Yeah.
would love that would be
Yeah.
like
That's literally what
a
it is.
highlight for me to do
Yeah.
that. Yeah. Yeah, I guess oh yeah,
Yeah.
they're oldies.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. See, D-Real because D-Real actually does a Ray Train where they do all oldies music as well.
Ooh,
So,
nice.
so
I
yeah,
gotta check you guys.
there's like so many like subcultures and genres. You just have to kind of pay attention. That's what I love about Twitch because I could go to like Team Shellens and I know I'm gonna be with like all the soca and dance hall and
Reggae.
all that vibe, right?
Exactly.
Reggae, right?
Yeah.
Then volatile, and then you get like the UK R&B and Europe R&B,
Yeah,
which sort of differs a little bit from what we listen to
for
in
sure.
these in North America. Yeah, it's incredible, So
Yeah, I gotta come out to the Bay. I have been to San Francisco, I think once or twice years
yeah.
ago. Yeah, it's beautiful out there. I love it. Yeah. Let's see. Alex Mejia says, "Who are some of your favorite DJs that we should check out?" That's a good question. Thanks
That's a
for that.
loaded question.
Yeah, I know it is because it's like if you say the wrong DJ, if you don't say all the DJs,
There's
mm,
so many. Oh my
that
gosh.
is a loaded question.
Yeah. In the house world, I would definitely suggest everybody go see James Hype at least once. He's just a super entertaining DJ. He actually DJs on 4 CDJs and does all kinds of crazy things live. He's left her hair, not her heart in San
I'm
Francisco.
surprised. I'm surprised. DJ Allier remembers that
Allier.
story. My hair fell out in San Francisco. I had it slicked back. I was
Oh,
probably as bald as you. I think
uh,
you're bald. I don't know. I can't see under your hat. Yeah, yeah. That's how my hair was, guys. My hair was just like his, pretty much.
why?
Well, I slicked it back, and then sorry, I know this is I shouldn't go into story time, but DJ Allier mentioned
Do
it,
it.
and I had this long, flowy, like Beyonce hair. I'm telling you, I don't normally say I stop traffic because I don't ever. But when I was walking down the street in San Francisco, I was stopping a little bit of traffic with that hair, ladies, fellas.
Uh,
It was that long, flowy, like 25 inches of hair. And I
got it.
slicked my hair bald, like how your head is,
Hmm.
slicked it back and put it in a clip. So it wasn't it wasn't like weaved in my hair. It was just a clip. And it started getting heavier and heavier on me. And I'm like, oh crap, I'm freaking out because I'm like, oh man, San Francisco, it's so busy. So I ran into Forever 21 to try to take it off. I'm like, where am I going to take off my hair? Like, everyone's going to be seeing this, right? So I said to my friend, I'll be right back. So I ran into an apartment block and then I looked left, looked right, and I literally took off Audio One, this full hair of 25 inches of hair. So I look like you. Can they see you again? Here, let me zoom in.
Ta-da!
I look like him. I'm not even kidding you guys. I look like Audio One with my hair slicked back. Imagine ripping off 25 inches of hair and shoving it in your purse. And then I look across the street. I look in front of me and I see all these African American, they're all these people were all staring at me and laughing and falling over and smacking the windows. Like the whole restaurant saw me do this.
Oh wow! So you look left and right. You didn't look in front though, eh?
I know I didn't. I did the walk of shame out of that apartment block. I'm like, I'm never going to walk down this street in San Francisco again. Hopefully I'll never see these people ever again.
I'll have to send
So
you some
anyways.
pictures. I have to send you some pictures when I was younger. I used to have very long hair too. So like,
Oh, did you? Oh
yeah, I
man, I wish
did.
I would have grabbed those pictures because
Yeah,
I would have
that's funny.
I would have definitely posted. Actually, I think I saw a flashback video of you. Didn't you have long hair down to your shoulders or
Hmm.
something? And you're like kind of like a skinny kid too.
Yeah,
Like, and you had long. Yeah, I think I saw one
yeah,
with you DJing on. I
mhm,
was like, oh, is this Audio One? That's so awesome.
yeah.
You know. So,
High notes like any pictures.
oh man, it was brutal high note. So forget. So that's what Ali. I guess he remembers the story I told.
It was an aisle two moment.
Yeah, it was not an aisle 2 moment. I could have had an aisle 2 moment if I kept the hair on my head and maybe a construction worker would have said hi to me across the street because they were looking. But
What's
there
up,
was no
girl?
aisle 2. No aisle 2 moment. My aisle 2 is a bit disastrous. But anyways, but it
It's
was I
funny.
was
You
a
have an
small
aisle
business.
two. DJ High Note has an aisle 10, but his is an actual. You have to go to his channel to
Yeah,
experience what
I
aisle
gotta
10
check
is.
him. What is aisle 10? What's aisle 10?
It's
Is it
it's
bad?
no,
Uh-oh.
it's not. It's not bad. It's nothing bad. It's just yeah. He ties in. He ties in like it's almost like he's a shop owner, and he basically like come get your Vicks. So there he has like Vicks emotes. So yeah.
Oh, so maybe we can all meet. You could come to my aisle 2, DJ Hino, and I'll come to your aisle 10, and maybe we'll kind of merge these aisles together, and maybe we could create some type of aisle show, like in the grocery store.
Right.
So yeah, so that's my.
What's the guy from Canada that has like the Walmart show?
Oh, Jay Online. I
Jay
introduced.
Online. Oh my
He's the,
gosh.
he's the only person that does dance hall reggae edits in the world. Like the only one that
Hmm.
is the biggest person that does that.
Yeah.
So he's got quite a remarkable story, and I love his show is comical. If you guys have
Yeah. He
seen
puts in a
Jay
lot of
Online,
time and effort into
puts a
that.
lot of time and effort in going in Costco's, going in a shopping cart, driving around. Like he's
Yeah.
got so many cool scenes. So it's definitely a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Oh, this girl says I'm definitely in aisle 5. One of those aisles. I think aisle 10's the entanglement section. So we don't like people going in aisle.
Oh, got it. Okay. So you treat it like a
We like them
supermarket. Yeah.
moving to
Yeah.
aisle 2. Anyways, yeah.
Clean up on
So
aisle 10.
exactly. So I know we're a little over. Thank you so much for doing this interview with me, coming on my talk show. I really appreciate it. It's
No
been
problem.
really great getting to know you like a little bit better and your journey. And I know more doors are going to be opening for you.
Mhm. One day at a
So
time.
yeah, definitely for sure. So make sure you guys, everyone, add DJ Audio One. It's been a pleasure. I got to catch your shows more often. The West Coasters. I feel like I miss a lot of people on the West Coast.
Yeah,
Some of them start really late
usually if
too.
you're up late, you can catch us for
Yeah,
sure. So,
yeah.
cuz I'm on usually like 7:10. I'm usually on at 10 p.m. Eastern. High notes usually on about 1 a.m. So, yeah. So So it's interesting because at night you get a whole different audience. You get people from New Zealand, you get people from Europe waking up, you get people from Japan.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
that you
So
do, right? Yeah.
mhm.
So I'll try to definitely stay up. I catch Mo One. I think Mo One's the only guy I kind of see late at night. And then
Yeah,
when he raids into his brother, I'm usually falling asleep,
right.
because it's like 1 or 2 in the morning. But I'm
Hmm.
gonna try to catch. Oh shoot! Snap,
But oh,
Alex.
Alex,
Yeah, those five gifted subs. Oh my goodness, Alex. He
I
just
wasn't
gave me
expecting the
5 gifted
echo.
subs. Yeah, I know a lot of people think it's highly
Yeah,
annoying.
yeah, 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 yeah,
I
yeah.
like it. Whose echo is better?
Probably
Who-
yours.
I think yours is actually. People can't stand my echo. Thank you so much, Alex Mejia, for the 5 pack. I appreciate that of subs. And
Thank you.
Jonah earlier. Thank you guys. I appreciate it. Oh, you use your echo too. See, I'm not the only one that uses it.
Yeah.
DJ Sunny D just came in. Good to see you as well. And thank you guys for coming through. I appreciate you guys so much and listening. To this awesome interview. Make sure you guys are adding DJ AUDIO1. He's doing big things online, offline, radio, club events, corporate events. So
Bit of
many
everything.
different things. Yeah, you're pretty much getting your hands in like everything. Teaching. So if you guys need an instructor, make sure you guys check him out too in his courses as well. Why don't you let them know also when you do your shows, like what days you're on and the times as well?
Right now, my current schedule is Boom Bap Monday, 7 p.m. Pacific, 10 p.m. Eastern. And the same thing for Tuesdays. Tuesday nights, we do High Octane, which is all EDM music. Mondays is all hip hop. Tuesdays is all EDM and house music. Same time, 7 p.m. Pacific, 10 Eastern. Wednesdays is La Fiesta, which is normally Latin music of all kinds. Lately, it's been a little bit more open format, but the same time. So 7 p.m. Pacific, 10 Eastern, 3 days a week, given my work schedule and my IRL schedule. So sometimes I won't do Tuesdays or Wednesdays if I'm booked for a corporate or something. But yeah, usually you find me Monday, Tuesdays, Wednesdays at that time. So yeah.
Okay, awesome. And then I think Alex Mejia had a question here too. He said your top 5 rappers
Oh
that
my
you like.
gosh. I can't answer that, man. Like
There's
I
so
don't.
many.
Yeah, there's so many.
Would you
Exactly.
lean more to like the West Coast or East Coast, like, for
Uh,
rappers? Would you say
either it,
that's a
you
tough
know,
one because
that's
they're
a
both good?
yeah. It's a tough one because each coast has different parameters, and also like, are we talking about new rappers or old rappers? You know what I'm saying? Like,
Let's talk about like say since I'm such a '90s girl,
say
like
same here.
'90s hip hop.
See, so for me, like a '90s list, this is gonna be like on an official list. So to me, would definitely be like Nas, Notorious
Yes,
B.I.G.,
hmm
Tupac. Like those types of names. You know what I
hands
mean?
down.
We're talking about Rakim, KRS-One. Obviously,
Mhm.
I'm big on hip hop, so those would be like unofficially like a top 5 for me.
I
You
like
know what I mean?
Gangstar. There's so
There you
many
go,
great ones.
Guru. Yeah.
Black Moon,
Hmm.
like some of the older ones. Yeah.
Yeah.
But Nas definitely he would be up there. KRS-One for sure. I
Hmm.
think I just interviewed someone that oh yeah, he opened up Jay Swan, he opened up for KRS-One.
Oh, dope.
And KRS-One's like, "Stay in your lane" to him, or like said something to him after his show.
Ah,
I can't remember exactly what he said, but he said something to him that was kind of intimidating.
yeah.
KRS-One. He tells a story about that.
That's
That's
awesome.
awesome. So 5 rappers. What about like for R&B? Like say '90s R&B. What would be your top?
Wow. Yeah.
Would you
See,
say?
and there's a big R&B movement going around right now.
Yeah.
Man, it's interesting. We keep having this conversation on Twitter because there's a disparity between people who like 2010s and 2020s R&B, and then there's us that like 90s and 2000s, and then we got raised by 80s and 70s. So
Yeah.
they're different lists. So like the young people gravitate to like Keisha Cole, but yet
Yes. I
like
do. I like
we
her.
gravitate to what? We gravitate to like Tevin Campbell or Boyz to Men or Mariah Carey, or we could take it down to like Moke and Steph, Brownstone,
Mhm.
TLC, like
SWV.
yes, WB, exactly. These are like, it's so different than what we hear today. Like today, the artists are different. We're talking about her, we're talking about SZA. Like
Mhm.
these lists can go anywhere. But I just gave you an example. I was born late '79, grew up in the '80s. The '90s is like my heyday, just like yours is.
Yes. Yeah.
So yeah, I literally listed like the most prominent people. But lately, I've actually been listening to a lot of music soul child, like, and
What?
he's
Really?
more of a late '90s, early
I just went
2000s.
to his concert. I just drove to New York on my own like a couple days ago and went to his concert.
You did the 9 hour drive?
I drove
Wow.
9 freaking hours, guys. I was stuck in traffic for 5 hours and I was about to
Jeez.
turn around, but I was determined. I'm like,
Yeah.
I've never been out to Rochester.
Yeah.
Some places were a little
Upstate,
rough.
upstate. Yeah.
Not gonna lie, it was a little rough some places. So I was like, maybe I should turn back and drive back to Canada. So that's what I did. I didn't bother staying
Yeah.
that night, but the concert was amazing. Monica and Musique did such an amazing show, and Monica, those two were together.
Yeah.
And I got a
Wow.
seat that was a $200 seat for $51. So
There
I
you
was
go.
I was like really happy,
You were winning.
you know. But it took
Yeah.
me 9, yeah, I think it was about an 8 or 9 hour drive that night. It was
That's a
getting
lot. Like
back at 4 in the
San
morning.
Francisco to LA
It
is
was a
about
lot.
5 6 hours. So yeah, we know we feel you. So, but yeah, R&B is just like hip hop. It's just one of those conversations. Like we have a big popular day party out here. It's called R&B and Ribs. My friend Nopa
Oh,
Slaps
I
runs
like
it,
that.
and
That's cute.
it's really really cool. But it's crazy because while it is partly R&B, a lot of it is based on the youth. So you got to play a lot of hip hop as well. And
Mhm.
so again, it goes back to like, what kind of R&B are you into? Are you into like the surface stuff, or are you into like the real stuff? To me, like I would want to go to a party where like somebody's playing Blackstreet or 112. Like that's for me. When they tell me you're playing an R&B party, like that's where I want to go. I want to like sing Blackstreet,
Yeah, that'd
like
be dope
real slow
for
jam
sure.
stuff, like not like the 90 BPM danceable stuff. I want to like where everybody's singing along,
I like the
crying.
slow jam stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah, like the Tevin Campbell and all that.
right.
Yeah, I like it. But I
So
mean, starting from scratch out here, he does that a lot.
yeah,
They'll do like the slow jam events and they're very popular. Like they're always sold out
yeah.
and
So
everyone's just singing. It's like a huge concert. Everyone's just singing to all the tracks, right? Which I
right.
love. Yeah.
So Half Crazy by Music Soul Child is one of my favorite songs. So
Oh
that
yeah.
kind of vibe, and no, that's not a club song, but I always wanted to be like, can I, if I play this song like with people, like when I watch videos of those, like they have parties in like Canada and UK and other places where they're singing along to like Blackstreet. I'm like, I wish that
Yes.
party was here, but it isn't. It is what it is.
Hey, but you guys can make a party. I bet you anything if you created your own party and made it, it would be sold out.
Right,
100%.
right.
You should do it.
It's
Seriously.
uh it's it's time and effort. I already
It's
have
a
a lot
lot.
of things going on. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
with the venue, like getting a venue and getting all that, but collab or something with Alex and a bunch of you guys. I'm sure you guys could get. And then you could bring a Canadian. You could bring a Canadian over. I'm just saying. I mean, you need a female DJ up
uh,
in there once in a while,
uh,
but
I want to hear
okay.
Audio 1 sing
I'll
Can We
just
Talk.
carry your stuff. Don't worry, guys. I'll carry your turntables or
One love
something.
to caution.
Yeah. But yeah, or maybe a female MC. Maybe you guys might need a female MC. Anyways, okay, I'm going to stop like hassling you guys.
Yeah, the top 5, top 10 lists are always going to be subjective, and people are either going to agree or not agree, and it's always going to be. That's why I love Twitter, because people are always going back and forth, and you just
Yeah.
kind of skim the surface. Like, okay, cool. I have an idea what's happening right now in the industry, or in the world, and you just kind of keep it moving. But yeah,
Yeah, for sure. Well, that's awesome. You said music. That's cool. You got to see him if he's coming. Like you got to check him.
yeah,
I don't know where he's
he's
touring or if he
mhm.
toured there yet, but that was an amazing show for
Yeah,
sure. Yeah. So I'm going to leave you with one last question before we raid out too.
sure.
So if there was anything on your life bucket list besides DJing music, if there is anything that you can do, what would that look like to you just in life in general? Like if you had definitely limited time, which we all seem to, time is going so fast here, right? But
Right.
I think about that question daily with the amount of people we've lost and just what
Hmm.
people are going through.
Yeah.
I think about that question like literally daily. What would I want my life to look like? So for you, what would that be on your kind of life bucket list? What you'd like to do?
Honestly, like I would love to travel the world. I would love to like visit Japan, Asia, Europe. I don't know. I watch a lot of YouTube and I'm fascinated by all the travel like channels, but not like the regular travel channels, but like the channels where like the people go into like the craziest parts of the world, type of thing. But I've always been fascinated by Japan. So
Hmm.
I started learning Japanese during the pandemic.
Oh, cool.
Like I always wanted to go visit out there, those types of places, Korea, um, New Zealand, Australia, Europe. I've been here in North America. I feel like I need to expand, and I've done some traveling. I've gone to Jamaica. I've gone to like El Salvador, Nicaragua, and it's beautiful that you can experience like the resort side of those places, but then when you go to the real, like it's like it makes it so worth it. You know what I mean? Like it took me one trip to Nicaragua to like make me like be grateful for everything I have, because there was a lot of things when I went out there that they didn't have, that like things that we take for granted here in North America, like oh shit, so I would love to go just travel the world, unrestricted. But I know
For sure.
at some point in time, I plan on doing that. But right now, this is what I'm doing. So,
Yeah,
as
for
long as I'm
sure.
alive.
Well, try to book a trip when you can, even if it's a small trip. Like just,
Hmm.
it is achievable. If you just do one small one, you could definitely sneak off or go away somewhere.
Yeah, I would love
Um,
that. But honestly, like for me, like I have a lot of financial responsibilities and different things here. So that's usually what keeps me grounded and keeps me working,
mhm.
aside from that. Yeah. But ultimately, yeah, I mean, in my later years, I would love to travel. I think I'm going to start traveling a bit more now, now that I'm in my 40s. I value moving around more. Even going to a different part of the United States, like when I go to New York and hang out with people over there, or Chicago, or like I really love going to LA, because obviously some of my best friends are in LA and Southern California, and even going to Las Vegas, just sometimes just getting away. Like just 2 weeks ago, Cinco de Mayo weekend, I was in Denver, and Denver is like, it was so much fun. I had a blast. We did 8 events in 3 days. It was
Oh,
incredible.
shoot, that's
Yeah, it
crazy.
was probably a
Wow.
lot more than my body could handle, but I
Yeah, it's
had,
a
I
lot.
had, I had a good time. So to me,
Wow,
like my body was hurting after all that, but I'm like, it was such a good experience. So I'm like, all right, cool.
man.
It's like I'm alive again. So
Yeah, for
yeah.
sure. Are you gonna be doing the Bay Area? Isn't there a meetup in August as
Oh
well
yes, there is the
coming up?
West Coast Bay Area meetup. I'm actually not playing it. I didn't get
Mhm.
hit up about it, but I will be there. I know the DJ High
I
Note's
think
gonna be
Cynthia
there,
Fong's
so
organizing some
yeah,
stuff too.
yeah.
I was talking
Cynthia's,
to her about it.
yeah.
Yeah,
So
I would love to come. I would love to come and meet
you
all you
should, yeah,
guys.
you should. That
Seriously.
that would be a great
Yeah.
opportunity to meet everybody from the West Coast, because that's one that like pretty much everyone goes to
And
every
to
year.
grab your mic, to get on stage and play
There
music,
you go.
Soul
There you
Child. Grab the
go.
mic. No, I was kidding. No, I'm just joking. But
Yeah, if you
let's see.
can, I would suggest it. So it's coming up very soon.
Yeah, I heard it's in August. I was thinking maybe have you gone to Atlantic City at all? Like for the DJ Expo?
I
I
have.
was thinking about it, and
I
then
went there in 22. That was a lot of fun. So.
Father Damien's like, "Do you need a priest?" I know, look at us Canadians, right? Father Damien, we're both like
A.
haggling them. We're just like, "Hey, do you need someone to carry your
It's
equipment?
A.
Hey, you need a priest?" Yeah, we say A, like
A.
EH.
Yeah.
EH,
It's
not
A.
AYE. You guys say A, we say A.
That's a nice hat you got there. A.
Oh man, I know we say I don't know how many times I've said A in our conversation. I'm not even sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. But you have this West Coast thing too. You got a strong West Coast accent as well.
People say that about all of us all the time. Y'all sound like some West Coast people. Yeah, I guess we
Like
do,
you
right?
definitely sound like you're from the West Coast, eh? Like,
I, I think
yeah,
that's probably because we're Latin, but yeah.
Man, I can't do it. I do a horrible West Coast and Southern accent. I can't
Yeah.
do it. But I don't know how to explain it. It's like,
It's
yeah,
I
you
think
definitely have an accent, a
we
strong
I think it's
valley
we have a
accent.
like the way you can tell is like if you go to like the East Coast, like when East Coasters come out here, we could point them out because of the way that they talk. They're very
Yeah.
fast, but like wherever we go, we're sort of kind of chill. So when I go to New York, people know like, oh, you're not from out here. I'm like, obviously, I'm not. Because in New York, like when you get into the subway, everybody's just like moving around, right? And
Oh
I'm
yeah.
just kind of sitting here. So for us, it feels like we're kind of observant.
Yeah.
Like whereas everyone's like, get the fuck out the way, motherfucker! I'm trying to get my train. Like, so
Like
for me,
you guys are laid back, but your city's still a pretty big city. But you West Coasters are kind of more laid back, right?
yeah,
Like more chill.
for the most, I feel
Yeah.
compared to the
This
rest of
is
the
like a
country.
mini New York. People probably would say that. They'll
Yeah.
push you over on the subway seat
Oh, yeah, I've been
if
pushed
you
over
get a
before, so
seat.
it's like, all right,
I'd be
man.
like, "Come on, hurry up."
But
Like,
I
it's
look at
20 seconds on the clock.
I,
Keep moving.
I look at the world as it ain't that serious. So that's just the
Mhm.
way it is. Zaldi has an accent.
Alex Mejia, you have an accent too, but I feel like Audio One is the strongest West Coast accent I've heard
You
out of
gotta
all
hear
the West
a
Coast
high
people.
note. High note
I
is
wish I
way
could
more.
imitate it. I don't know. I have to listen to a little. I have to think about it to do it.
So
But
we move fast through Oakland.
oh, you move fast through Oakland.
Stop that.
Isn't Keisha Cole from Oakland?
Keisha Cole is from Oakland, from East Oakland. Yep.
Yeah, isn't she? Yeah.
Hmm.
She definitely a girl you don't want to mess with, you know? And then this girl, Xtina, has a strong Boston accent. And there's a few
She's from
people.
Boston.
Yeah, she's like, can I get some water? Water with
Are you
my.
gonna go park the car?
She's like, get lost.
I've
She's
been to
got a very
Boston.
strong Boston. Yeah, she definitely got. She's like, need some water. Get me some water with my booger. She's like, Honeyflow, just stop with the accents. Um, DJ you have a West Coast accent too, but it's not as strong. It's just like a
See,
hint.
people that don't live out here, you could hear that, but it's the same thing when we hear people from other parts of the country too. It just depends, you know. So
Yeah, that's true. Do I have a strong accent to you? Canadian accent?
a little bit, but
Oh, I do.
yeah. But you're in
Wonder what we
Toronto, so
sound like.
Toronto's like being in like New York or in Los Angeles, you know, like you're
I
kind
heard
of
we
in a
sound like nerds. We sound like we're Valley girls. I heard. Like it doesn't matter what culture we are. Like even if you're Drake or if you're Jamaican or West Indian, even the men, they all sound like Valley girls in Canada.
oh,
Like Father Damien. We all sound the same.
like Drake.
Yeah. They do a good Toronto accent. We sound so nerdy, I feel like as Canadians. Um
Like
oh, because you're using the word like. Well, whatever. Anyways, so yeah,
I'm like from Scarborough.
I don't talk like that. Do I talk like that?
No, not
People
you,
say
no.
I sound like a preppy little cheerleader. I hope I don't talk like that.
Oh,
Oh, that's a good question. Who won the battle between Drake? I feel like it was all fixed. Drake and Kendrick. I think Kendrick won it. I thought Kendrick was a little harsher in what he was saying, so I'm going to go with Kendrick. I don't know. What do you guys think? Sorry, Drake, but
wow.
we're not
See,
supporting you in
you're
the
see.
sticks. We're
Was
not
I
supporting
was
you in the
expecting you
T-dot.
to go hometown. You know.
I'm not going hometown on
Okay.
him. Now, if it was Cardinal official, I would go hometown
Oh yeah,
and
Cardinal for
support
sure.
Cardi. I would support him hands down.
Yeah.
Drake,
I just
I
played
feel
all.
like Drake
It's
is
funny.
a chameleon.
I just played Old Time Killing last night. That's kind of crazy.
Oh,
You
did
mentioned
you?
Cardinal. Yeah.
Oh, cool. Like he is a true representation of what the Toronto sound is and the
Right.
hip hop and just embodies what Toronto and what Canada is, I feel. Drake,
Right.
I feel like he's a chameleon. Like Canadians don't sound and we don't sound and talk like that. Like
Yeah.
Drake is always going to be Aubrey, with those thick glasses from Degrassi High to us. He's not going to be the cool Drake that everyone's like, "Oh, wow, look at Drake." Like I was like, "Come on, guy.
Wheelchair
Please."
Jimmy.
Yes, he's always going to be that to us. He's not going to be that cool whatever. Old Time Killing. Yes, that was a classic.
Yeah. Yeah. That's my kind of hip hop. So we're talking about like remember Northern Lights,
Oh, wow. I'm
Chocolate,
surprised you know all these guys.
Thrust. Yeah. Yeah.
Amazing.
It's funny. We have in Boom Bap Mondays, we have like a big contingency out of Toronto and just
Cool.
Canada in general. So whenever they come in, I'm like, let me play some Citizen Kane or something like that. They're just like, whoa, how do you know about that?
Yeah.
I like
Yeah, they love their boom bap here. Is Scratch Bastard on yours on the
yeah,
thing there?
he was actually one of the first guests we ever had on Boom Bap.
Okay, that's what I thought.
So
Yeah,
he's a legend.
yeah, like if you go to his parties, like
Yeah.
they're under a bridge, it's actually pretty cool.
Yeah.
Thousands of people
Mhm.
and it's just really under like a bridge, which is crazy, and the highway's over top.
Yeah.
And it's kind of cool. It's different. And he plays all boom bap and with
Yeah.
Jazzy Jeff and all those guys. Yeah, Father Damien went to high school. He grew up with all those. Get me some
Yeah.
interviews,
Small
Father
world,
Damien.
man. That's
He
wild.
grew up with all these guys,
Yeah.
Chauclair,
Yeah.
Raw Dalla. Yeah.
Wow,
So,
that's it's just such a small world, and it's crazy because like during the pandemic, like a lot of Canadians, like viewers and streamers connected with like West Coast, and we all kind of connected, and we all learned about each other's cultures and things. So I learned a lot about like Toronto in the past like 4 years. You know, obviously I'm saying it wrong because I'm a West Coaster, but
mhm,
every
we don't
once in
put
a
a
while. Every
me.
once in a while, some of you know, I always make it a habit, like, "Yo, where you tuned in from?" You know, and they're like, "Oh, I'm from Canada." I'm like, "What part of Canada are you from?" And they're like, "Oh, I'm from Toronto." And I'm like, "Okay, so are you from like Toronto proper, or are you from Scarborough? Are you from Ajax? Are you
You're
from,
probably like,
Are
"What?"
you from Pickering?" And they're just like, "How the hell do you know all of
Yeah,
this?"
that is
You know?
crazy that
Yeah.
you would know that because most people don't. We just say Toronto because everyone knows Toronto.
Or
But
the GTA, I guess, however you call
yeah,
it, or
wow,
yeah,
geez, you should be a Torontonian. What's going
right.
on here? We'll get
Yeah.
you to
Well,
say
see,
A a few
because
times.
we've had people come in. Like we actually there was one DJ for a long time, DJ Michon. He's from out there. Um, and a lot of his people are from Toronto or the greater Toronto area. So we got to learn about all the different little neighborhoods. Like I remember one, my buddy Ziwala, he's Indian, so he's like, "Oh, so I would be somebody from Brampton, wouldn't I?" I'm like, "Yep." Like apparently, there's a lot of Indian people
And
in
they say,
Brampton.
yeah, there's a lot of Indian. It's India now in all of Canada.
Yeah,
Pretty much. I'm like,
yeah.
it's changed a lot for sure. Let's see here. I was gonna say,
The
oh,
416 905. Yeah.
Clarky asked what's Toronto proper. I've heard that before too. Guys saying Toronto proper. I don't even know actually.
I think my understanding is that that would be if you actually live like downtown or in the city, or if you don't live outside of the city.
Oh, that's new to me.
So for me, like I'm from the San Francisco Bay Area, but I don't live in San Francisco. I actually live about 30, 40 minutes away from the big city. So I'm in
Oh,
the East Bay. So I live in the burbs, but I still represent the San Francisco Bay Area. So even though you might live in Ajax or somewhere, you might still represent the GTA, I guess. So I don't know.
who would be like your main artists in San Francisco? Would it be like Too Short and like some of those the main like West Coast guys?
When it comes to like rap music, for
Like
sure.
when it's
Like
a real West Coast sound, like what would be
oh, for me, I
okay,
mean,
this is the guys coming out of this area, you know?
well, for West Coast, obviously, you're thinking like Ice Cube,
Yeah.
Snoop Dogg, like Dr. Dre. Those would be like your quintessential. For the Bay
Mhm.
Area, obviously, it would be E40 and Too Short.
Oh,
Would be some of those
E40.
names. You know, like
Yeah.
those names that you saw on my shirt. I mean, those were like five like big Bay Area rap groups. But yeah, I mean, kind of blurred the lines. It's interesting because like LA has their sound and the Bay Area has their own sound, and it's sort of
Hmm.
a West Coast sound when it comes to hip hop in general. But because there's music that I play here in the Bay Area, especially rap music, that I can't play outside of the Bay unless someone asks for it specifically.
Really?
Just like in
Huh.
Canada, just like in Toronto, there's probably artists in a sound out there that like it doesn't get played outside of that area. Some
Mm.
sort of like when you go to like Washington D.C. They're big on go-go, so you don't really hear
Yes.
about go-go music outside of that area, you know, or juke in Chicago or Florida, like like all these regions have like their artists or their like music communities. So it just depends.
And it's pretty diverse out there in San Francisco. Like everyone, I've seen your events. Like people, lots of different cultures and
Hmm.
people intermix. Right? It's not like really segregated where you see, like the Asians or Spanish or like just different
At ti-
people.
at times it can be. For the most part, we're just like Toronto. We're L.A. and San Francisco. We're basically like melting pots of people and cultures. So
Yeah, I noticed that. Yeah, and
yeah.
just checking out your videos, I was like, oh, that's pretty cool. Like it definitely gives a Toronto vibe. Like the music gives the West Coast vibe, but if I were to just shut off the volume and just watch all you guys at the parties, I was like, you guys could definitely be in Toronto, because it just reminds me of it too, like everyone together.
Speaking of someone that lives in Toronto, one of my moderators, La Uruguaya Latina,
Oh,
she
she's
is
your
from
moderator too, Latina.
yeah,
She's everywhere. She's a power mod too.
yeah. So
Sheesh.
her and One Only B are my main mods. Yeah. So
Okay, we got January Winter too in the building. She from
Bay
the
Area
Bay
love. Yep.
Area?
Yeah.
Yeah. Nice. I love it. I got to visit again. Uh, I will not put hair in next time I visit San Francisco, but I will come and I will not be as bald as you again, but I will come back and hopefully I'll connect with you.
Okay,
But I was
sounds
going to
good.
see who you wanted to raid into. And thank you again, like for this interview. It was, or just this conversation. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah,
Just sitting
so
down, learning more about you. I'm going to try to make an effort to catch more of your shows in the West Coast. I'll try to stay up later too, to check you guys out too. But yeah, if there's
any
anyone,
suggestions in the chat of who we should raid right now? Because
let's see, I'm looking too. If there's anyone to raid. What do you guys think?
I think Don is on right now. Don Perignon. You should raid Honeyflow. Should raid yourself.
Raid myself. Oh my gosh.
That doesn't sound right.
You know, I think I'm good. I wonder if that would ever work if someone rated them themselves.
It doesn't
Like,
allow. I've
how does
tried it.
that
It
work?
doesn't allow.
Oh, you have tried
Yeah,
it?
yeah.
Oh,
It says something like.
yeah, Dawn's on it.
Huh?
Let's see. I'm just seeing if there's any other suggestions too in the chat. Yeah, I'm game for, wherever you guys want to go. It's fine.
Okay, let me just double check here.
Just checking the chat too. Let's see. Don't see anyone posting yet. I'll give them a minute. Oh, he says raid DJAUDIO1. He's probably tired after this interview. He's been 3 hours with me already. So
let's raid Dawn Perignon. She's part of the
Okay.
Soul Train raid right now, and she's
Okay,
only 3
awesome.
minutes into her set right now. So
Oh, she is? Okay, perfect. Okay, so let's do that. Yeah, she's an awesome DJ. I haven't seen her in a minute, so we could definitely raid into her. That's great. Yeah, and so thank you guys. Thank you for joining me. Make sure everyone adds DJAUDIO1. It was a pleasure again.
most
Just getting
definitely.
to know you more, and thanks for sticking around for 3 hours with me. Wow, I hope you get some like dinner, a nice dinner and
Yeah.
a
maybe.
drink tonight too and relax.
Yeah. Well, a drink will be water for sure. So
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Water. Water or coconut water. That's what I have in here. Have you tried coconut water? Electrolytes. Yeah, those are pretty good. Thank you, everyone. Yeah, and just copy my raid message. Just put the raid in. Do it with the bees. I like the bees in there. It's kind of cute. So yeah, definitely copy the message, and we'll raid Dawn Perignon as well. Thank you guys for coming through. Appreciate you. So I'm going to start this raid. And your next show, you could let them know again. The next day you're
you
on.
know what? I was gonna go on later, but tomorrow 7 p.m. Pacific, 10 p.m. Eastern, we'll do La Fiesta Latina tomorrow, and
Okay.
so tonight I'll just make sure I kind of regroup, and then I'll be ready for tomorrow. So
Okay.
yeah.
Okay. So you're not going on tonight then?
Yeah, I'm not. Yeah.
No. Yeah, that might be a lot for sure. Okay, sounds good.
Yeah,
All right.
Yeah, shout out to everybody who tuned in, man. Thank you everybody for tuning in. Definitely come by my channel whenever. Just have a vibe, That's it. Alex Mejia, B Stang, Father Damien, High Note, One and Only B. Everybody, thank you. Arch Fluffy. Appreciate you all. Thank you, January Winter, Miss Princess. And thank you very much, Honeyflow. I really appreciate this.
Yeah,
Wonderful.
for sure. It was great. Salute to all you guys. I'll see you guys soon on these Twitch streets. And let's say hi to Dawn Perignon too. See if it went through. Sometimes you got to raid like 1 or 2 more times for it to work. I don't know why it leaves so many people behind, but it does.
It depends on what they're using to watch you. So.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I'm going to try raiding 1 more time, see if this works. Let's see here. Yeah, we definitely got to keep in touch. I'm going to check out your shows. If I do make it out to the Bay Area, I'll definitely let you guys know. Or maybe the next one. That would be nice to connect with some of you guys for sure. Okay, I think I'm going to raid out here. Okay, good. Sounds good. All right, well, have a great night. And yes, and we'll definitely talk soon for sure. Right. Yeah. Okay, take care. See ya. Bye.
You're still live, by the way.
Shoot.